'cause I'm drowning in something and I can't come out. Just show me loving, I need your loving. Me, myself, ain't enough. It's like being hooked up to a crushing heart. I want you to know how bad it hurts. You keep it beside along my heart. Oh, 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 are you dreaming of me now? The way I do. Oh, 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 are you dreaming of me now? The way I do. Hold me, lover. I need you, lover. 'Cause I'm falling in too quickly and I can't break free. Just hold me, lover. I need you, lover. Me and myself ain't enough. It's like being alone in a crashing car. I need you to know how bad it hurts. Hearing the sound of my broken heart. Oh, 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 are you dreaming of me now? The way I do. Oh, 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 are you dreaming of me now? The way I do.
I miss the family I used to have. I feel like everything's so different now. Sitting by the fire as we'd watch the flames burn out. I miss the days I wasn't afraid. Now I always have my guard up, hands on my face. I learned to cope with the pain. I know that people think I'm trying to get attention, but in reality I'm trying to send a message. I know there's kids out there that are going through the same thing, and if you're one of them, I hope to help your suffering. Just know it will get better and these feelings do not stay the same. No, they don't stay the same. I don't wanna make you feel bad, but you kinda ruined my life. You hurt me and ruined my life, and I don't wanna make you feel bad, but you kinda ruined my life. You hurt me and ruined my life. You hurt me and ruined my life. Oh. You hurt me and ruined my life. I lost a couple friends on my way up. I took a couple L's, but that's just normal talk. I popped a couple pills, but they don't do much. And now I take Prozac in the morning with some other stuff. But why did I get into this? I feel like this is all a dream, but when I wake up, look around, this isn't even make believe. So I sit in the corner thinking back to all the hurt me and ruined my life. And I don't wanna make you feel bad, but you kinda ruined my life. You hurt me and ruined my life. You hurt me and ruined my life. Yeah. Oh, you hurt me. Oh, you hurt me. You hurt me and ruined my life. You hurt me and ruined my life. I know the air I'm breathing, it's no good for my lungs. I do this every season, I hate when summer comes. I fall into a trap that I made by myself. Oh, and I always do the wrong thing. I'm unstable and I'm unsteady, I've lost a million times already. And I'm so sorry, but I'm not able to slow down. I feel unable and so unworthy, my heart feels heavy, I've lost already. And I'm so sorry, but I'm not able to slow down now. And I'm so sorry, but I'm not able to slow down now. And I'm so sorry, but I'm not able to slow down now. I'm always self-destructive, I take a hit, I love it. Can you give me a second? I'm slow, got blurry vision. I fall into a trap that I made by myself. Oh, and I always do the wrong thing. I'm unstable and I'm unsteady, I've lost a million times already. And I'm so sorry, but I'm not able to slow down. I feel unable and so unworthy, my heart feels heavy, I've lost already. And I'm so sorry, but I'm not able to slow down now. Please help me see the things that I am. I don't understand. I'm doing the best that I can right now, but it's never enough. I'm not even ready to slow down. Just slow down. And I'm so sorry, but I'm not able to slow down now. And I'm so sorry, but I'm not able to slow down now.
How could you ever love me? You don't even see me. I'm hanging around, wasting time, hoping that you'll drop by. And I don't pretend to know what you want. I don't even know where to start, but I'm willing to try. Even if you push me under, it's only gonna make me stronger. It's only gonna feed my hunger. Say the words, say the words. Even if the tide stops turning, even if the world keeps burning, nothing's gonna stop this feeling. Say the words, say the words. watching the flames burn higher, setting my world on fire. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, risking it all on you. And I don't pretend to know how you feel. Either you won't or you will, but I'll give it a try. Even if you're too blind to see, and even if you look right through me, I never thought it would be easy. Say the words, say the words. Even if the world stops breathing and every beating heart stops beating, nothing's gonna stop this feeling. Just say the words, say the words.
Yeah. MD, JPB, it's only right, baby.
Yeah, why you mad? I got a bag, bro. Name hot in these streets, no Tabasco. But I'm so stuck, that's a fact, yo. And if you think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo. Go and run it back. You know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this one, that one. Damn, it's gonna be a long night. Yeah. You know. I said, damn, it's gonna be a long night. Yeah, let's go. Look. I tell shorty drop it for a real one. Yeah. Go ahead and pop it, let me feel some. Do it for the boy with a bag now. Movie star money making everybody act out. I don't lie to these women, if I want them, then I tell them. Don't get fly for these women, I was born with these propellers. All my haters cannot beat me, so I call them acapellas. See, I'm only getting better, you only get jealous. You know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this one, that one. Damn, it's gonna be a long night. You know, I have this one, that one. Damn, it's gonna be a long night. Yeah. MD, JPB. You already know, baby. Yeah. I said, I already done it. Everything you wanna do, I already. You know that yeah. I said, you know that yeah. Damn, it's gonna be a long night.
You don't know what goes on behind these eyes. You don't know the loneliness hidden inside. You don't know I wanna eat you up alive. Come and get to know me, my type of wild. I'm the kind that spins you and hangs you dry. Well, I'm already on to another side. If you gave me your whole life, I would still have room for more. Cause I've got that appetite. Baby, I never feel whole. Though you might get me through the night, but it will never be enough. It will never be enough. Cause I'm a black girl for your love. Cause I'm a black girl for your love. Cause it's true, no, everything they say about me, I'll suck you, no, my center of gravity. Cause it's true, no, everything they say about me, I'll love you like a supernova, burn into you like a shooting star. Always craving for you to come to me. Though this way of life, no, it ain't healthy. But ain't no other way, it's just what I need. I want all your soul, I want your body. I'm the type that licks her play clean. Don't wanna let out, wanna you can eat. If you gave me your whole life, I would still have room for more. Cause I've got that appetite. Baby, I never feel whole. You might get me through the night, but it will never be enough. It will never be enough. Cause I'm a black girl for your love. Your love. Cause I'm a black girl for your love. Cause it's true, everything they say about me, I'll suck you, my center of gravity. Cause it's true, everything they say about me, I'll love you like a supernova, burn into you like a shooting star. If you give me your whole life, I would still have room for more. Cause I've got that appetite. Baby, I never feel whole. You might get me through the night, but it will never be enough. It will never be enough. Cause I'm a black girl for your love. Never be enough. Cause I'm a black girl for your love.
Looks like we've come to the end of the road. There's no point in running away now. I'd rather sleep until the storm is gone. She'd rather be shooting at me now. I know it will end up in anger. I don't think we grew up, we just became older. She's aiming her words, ready to fire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. Looks like a blink of an eye's not enough. She'd rather be staying for days now. I'd rather fix it than mess up again. She'd rather be burning it all now. I know it will end up in anger. I don't think we grew up, we just became older. She's aiming her words, ready to fire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire.
pretending that you like somebody else, like you got boys waiting in line to take you home. But tell the truth, you spend the night alone. Let's be alone. So why don't we stay out till the morning light? 'Cause two wrongs can make a right. We're just doing what we feeling right now. So what the hell? Why you hanging on the rooftop by yourself? Always waiting for the one, but I got news for you. I'm the best that you can get. So what the hell? Are you waiting? So what the hell? So what the hell? What are you waiting for now? So what the hell? Are you hanging on the rooftop by yourself? Always waiting for the one, but I got news for you. I'm the best that you can get. So what the hell? So what the hell?
Stop the time, 'cause I wanna freeze this moment. Make it mine, hold you close. Now my heart's wide open. When I'm with you, suddenly I feel no pain. Do you make it go away? Do you make it? Stop the time, 'cause I wanna freeze this moment. Make it mine, hold you close. Now my heart's wide open. When I'm with you, suddenly I feel no pain. Do you make it go away? Do you make it? Do you make it go away? Do you make it? Do you make it go away? Do you make it? Do you make it go away? Do you make it go away?
Chung, otherwise known as Parallaxstella, and I want to quickly shout out Lenovo Legion. This tournament is brought to you by Lenovo Legion, which offers gaming PCs, monitors, and accessories that are stylish on the outside and savage on the inside. So going into this tournament today, which if you were here yesterday, all the formatting and rules are the same except for the maps are going to be 3 games on World's Edge and then 2 on Storm Point, as opposed to the other way around. So let's go ahead and take a look at this graphic that we have. We've made this lovely graphic for y'all to look at the formatting and how scoring will work for you. So again, 3 maps will be on World's Edge today, which means we're going to get some pretty good fights out, especially on this map that's a little bit smaller, then 2 on Storm Point. And every kill that you get will give you 5 extra points. So you're going to be looking at placement points. Starting at around 10th place, you're going to get 1 extra point. But unfortunately, that's not a whole lot of points. You want to be getting your kills. You want to be getting your KP. At 5th place is where you start getting 10. And that's more of a significant point jump. Of course, in 1st place, you're going to be getting 50, which is an incredible jump. So if teams play like they have been yesterday, 50 points is going to be a lot, because on top of all of that extra points that you're getting with KP, which we did see Dupla getting at least 25 points just from kills at one point. And that wasn't even at the end of the match. We did see them overtake 1st place. Unfortunately, they did place 2nd yesterday overall, but we did see that during one of the matches, I think it was the 4th match, we did see them actually take 1st place away from the original 1st place standing team because of their KP. So KP definitely matters. You want to be paying attention to how many kills you're getting, how many early game rotations you're getting into, because we also saw that circle rotation in South America is very important. You do not want to be the last team standing up, because with the aggressiveness that we've seen this lobby have, we know that it's going to be a problem, especially if you're late rotating. That is not going to be a good look for you. So we're going to be looking at a lot of early game fights, especially on World's Edge, which, if you remember yesterday, the difference between World's Edge and Storm Point in these lobbies was pretty big. Storm Point, we didn't see a lot of early game matches. We didn't see a lot of early game fights until around 2nd ring closure. But on World's Edge, we definitely saw a lot of fights happening right off the drop. A lot of people want to contest. A lot of people want to take their loot. So we're going to be seeing a lot of different rotations and a lot of fighting early on. And we do have 3 matches on World's Edge for you today. So that means a lot of jam-packed action, which is going to be so fun. Now, we are waiting for all of the teams to get into the lobby. We believe we have almost all of them. We're just waiting for the one last team. So we're going to have a full roster for you today. And I'm very excited to see how these teams are going to be pulling out all the stops. We did see some charge rifling, which I don't think I've really seen that too much in competitive Apex, at least at this level, which is going to be very interesting to watch. It's a lot of bullying, but it's great for shields and building up your purple shields at least and going to red. I personally prefer the longbow, but I know that it's been nerfed a little bit, but you know, that's all right. So for today, we are going to be having more qualifying teams at the end of today, and we are going to be going through 5 different matches. And the finals, we don't have the schedule graphic for you today, but the finals will be next week on the 10th, I believe. Yes. So it's going to be on the 10th, an hour later than when we are starting today. So it's going to be 11 a.m. PST. So we're going to be doing that. And if anyone gets tied, we're going to go through the tiebreakers real quick, just so you all have a little updated knowledge of that. So in case of a tiebreaker between qualifications or prized ranks, of course, we're going to go through the order. It'll first go through highest amount of overall kills, highest kills in a single round, best points in a single round, highest placement in a single round, and best placement in the last round. So there are a lot of different options that we have for this. Of course, for the finals, 12 additional teams per region will be invited to the final. The top 4 teams of each qualifier, so today and yesterday, will advance to the final in their region, resulting in 20 teams per final. So if any qualified team cannot participate in the final, the team with the next highest points will advance. So that's very exciting. Today is the last day for the qualifiers here for South America. So we're going to see who's going to qualify and get invited to the finals. Now, I believe that we do have all of our squads in. We are just waiting for the lobby to start and very excited. Again, this is going to be on World's Edge. We did see a lot of people dropping into Fragment and Skyhook, but surprisingly, a lot of people missed out on Countdown. They did not want to drop on Countdown, which is very interesting because that definitely has some good loot, has some good starting shields that you want to grab. But the fact that people were not choosing to land there is an interesting call. We did see a lot of teams landing Climatizer and in Survey Camp. So that is going to be something that I'm looking for. Again, we're going to be very curious about how all of these circles pull. We're going to see how many scan legends they have. We did see a lot of teams choosing to go the classic Gibraltar, Bloodhound, and Wraith combo. But we do see here this team, Ender's team, actually has a Valkyrie instead, which is an interesting call. Valkyrie on World's Edge is actually not too terrible. So we're going to be seeing how these rotations go for these teams here. So as everyone drops and gets into their locations, we are going to be seeing where everyone makes their claims. Now, I do believe this is Brotherhood that we are watching. So you can see everyone has spread out pretty decently here, but we do see a lot of overlapping teams towards the west. That is going to be something that we are definitely going to see some fights here with Brotherhood, and we already see a fight happening here, and this is right off the drop. We do see Sab having to go back because he doesn't really have all of that much loot. Again, this is straight off the drop that we are seeing them fight. Ooh. He does have to queue out. He does make it out, but he isn't doing too great here. And now this is... Oh, this is the other team, Spetsnaz, that is actually fighting for their lives here. But they are unfortunately unable to disengage, so they are going to have to take this fight. I don't know where his team is. They're a little bit too separated. This is not looking good for this team. Oh, and that's going to be A1. Soy Mamba is the only one left for this team here, and I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. He's going to have to disengage fully if he wants to play for placement, because again, remember, 10th place is where you start getting points, but that's only one extra point. And we do see Brotherhood here absolutely decimating the last members of Spetsnaz. And, you know, Brotherhood is one of the more aggressive teams that we did see play yesterday. And they are going to be going in and trying to chase. But they also want to stay close. They want to take the loot here because they have this entire place for free. All right, now we're seeing AVC, a team returning from yesterday, and SemOrg all existing in these different parts of the map. PepeU from last qualifiers as well. Looks like they are actually in an active fight, and Lord does go down, so now it is a 2v3 here. And this is the early game aggression that I was telling you about. Looks like they are trying to get the res here, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Yeah, we do see that they are getting heavily damaged here, and I don't know if ABC is going to be able to get out of this one alive. They are going to be down a member, and I don't think... I don't think La Scalinetta is going to let them res and get away from this because they want these early game KP, because again, every kill counts for 5 extra points. All right, we do see AVC here trying to get out of this sticky situation. Already, we are seeing so many early game fights. They are trying to move into Lava Fissure, but they are unable to. Vang taking a little bit too much more damage than he should be, and they are being stuck and held out underneath. And their bubble is already gone. This is Racing Club hitting them hard and making sure that they cannot rotate out. Racing Club just coming in with the EVA 8 shots and absolutely decimating this team. Oh my goodness, it is a free-for-all here, and we do see the Charge Rifle Mastiff combo, and I think that is going to be another down there, and they are going to absolutely demolish this team, and Racing Club now has 3 KP for their team starting out, and this is round 1 is only just closing now. Oh, we do see FA, the team we do from yesterday, coming in. They are down a player, but they do end up taking down a Blue, but they are getting third-partied again. And we do see Feed overlooking all of this fighting that happened earlier, and they are not letting anyone else rotate into their zone at all. Racing Club did disengage though, so they are going backwards. They're going to be able to rotate into circles pretty much freely since this is their own zone. They didn't push into the other team, Feed, so they're going to be all right. But Feed is rotating in currently, trying to hold them out of the circle. See, we do see these early game rotations now because they are thinking of holding out the other teams that they see in the area. But again, this is one of those nasty choke points that you do not want to find yourself in. This is one of those choke points that you definitely want to move quickly out of because it is not a good position to be in. Now, we do see Black Hat Esports in Climatizer. I think they might be having a fight, but that is all right. We see a lot of teams surviving here in this one location. There are a lot of fights going on. There's 16 squads left with Circle 1 just now closing. I want to point that out to you, chat. All right, with 16 squads left, we do see Countdown. We do see Countdown being taken by La Scaloneta, and they do have 3 KP, so they're sitting all right. They're playing for placement now, taking things a little bit easy. They are not being contested. They do want to hold out this zone so that they can claim it as their own, because a lot of these teams are going to be rotating in, especially from Skyhook, where we did see several teams existing together. So we're going to be seeing how many teams are rotating into this location, and we are going to be seeing La Scaloneta holding down their ground. Now they do the Hemlock Peacekeeper combo for Aimbot Machine, the Gibraltar. It looks like they're doing pretty good on shields as well. This is pretty great. Scally not doing too well here. Down 2 players, and now it is a 1v3, and we did see this location having way too many teams existing in the same location. No one is going to be able to get out free. And Brotherhood, it's actually Brotherhood coming in to finish off this kill here. Trying to secure that KP, but they can't quite land the shots there, so they're going to let him get away for free, but they are just decimating and making sure that everyone knows that this is their location. We do see Brotherhood just securing their kills here for free, making sure that they are laying down the law that this is their POI. No one else can come in. No one else can do anything about that. And we do see Black Hat here just trying to hold their ground in Climatizer. They are actively looking at another squad that is shooting down at them. And, ooh, their Gibraltar actually does not have good shields, so they are trying to build that up. 16 damage left. They might be able to get this, but it is not looking good if they decide to get into this fight. I don't think they want to push yet, but it seems like they aren't really given a choice as their other team is pushing them actually here. But it does look like their Gibraltar was able to get their shield, so they might be able to get this push and defend this location. But we do see a lot of poking fights here. Now that Gibraltar does have a shield, I think they're feeling a little bit more confident. They can push this if they want to, but we're going to go back and we're going to see if they're going to be able to get extra damage. Ooh. They did break the other Gibraltar shield, but they are getting naded here. I don't know if anyone's going to be pushing here. It is actually only Flans that has been poking at the other team. So they may not push in, but we do see Annabelle again on Caustic, which is a great pick for World's Edge. Honestly, there are so many buildings that you can go into and bunker down in. Now we do see Black Hat having to fight for their lives here, but they do win out on this fight. But they know that they're going to get third-partied really quickly. If they're not careful, they're going to have to shield swap, make sure that they are healthy, reset, because they know that only Flans is in the area, and they might get third-partied here. And there it is. Only Flans trying to find their opening here and trying to get back into this fight. But I don't know if they're going to be able to push because Black Hat did get to fully reset. Now we do see the two teams just looking down at each other again. So it's going to be a poking battle here because I don't think either team really wants to fight. And they have been making quite a bit of noise here. And this is still within the circle. So they know that they are putting themselves at risk. The longer they stay here, the longer that they make noise. So Animal is just setting up camp here as Caustic, which is not a bad play. Using the Car and Hemlock combo is interesting, but I'm assuming he's using the Hemlock for long range and the Car for close range. We do see PNP here as well, trying to find their opening because now they know that there are 3 squads, including them, in this one POI. Right, and Annabelle should be clear to just hunker down, make sure to establish this point as his own, as Caustic, which is exactly what he's doing. And we did see some aggressive plays from him as Caustic, throwing his ultimate down to create some space for his team and cover. So I'm hoping to see more of that play today. All right, now it is Circle 2 that is going to be closing, and we do see 12 squads left. So we do see a lot of teams that are existing in the circle. They've already rotated in, except for AD's team that we see coming in from the west here. And we are going to be seeing them move in very slowly, but that is all right. I think they're going to be clear to move in because all the other teams are looking down at each other. If a lot of teams have scan legends, they do know where the next circle is going to be, which means only Flans is in the right spot. So we do see a lot of teams existing in Climatizer because that is where the other circle is pulling to.
I bet we'll find something good here.
All right, now we do see Team Feed with 2 gold shields and a Loba. That is going to be really good for their loot pool here. We do see the Wingman Peacekeeper combo on Freezy, which is incredible because those are pretty high precision guns here. But Feed is trying to actively hold down this train spot, which is probably not the best place to be, especially with BRZ looking down at them, making sure to keep an eye on where this team is. They know that Feed is there on the train, and that won't provide them too much more cover. So BRZ doing some scouting, making sure that they know where all the other teams are, knowing that a lot of teams have gotten that early rotation. And here's the longbow. Like I was saying, this is one of my favorite sniper rifles to be using just because it does so much damage and it fires pretty quickly. But we do see a lot of teams existing in the same area trying to get into the building. But we know that Annabelle is holding down in that one building with his caustic barrels. So that's going to be a bit of a fight to get in there. Now we do see Gwyn's team just firing on the outside. Only Flans. They might be running out of resources, but they also do have loot all around them, so they might be all right. Black Hat also trying to find that opening. They are fine where they are. They can stay here, but they know that the more damage they take, the more they're going to have to replenish on their resources. So they are being a little bit more cautious about how they poke. They all do have purple shields, and we do see Tharsis Esports also in the same area trying to hold down their location. We're going to be seeing a lot of teams coexisting in the same building on top of each other, and it's going to be a mess once round 2 closes and round 3 starts as well. Tharsis is getting some extra damage off. They do need to get Gui's shield up because he is only on blue, and going into round 2 closing, going into round 3 is going to be a little bit punishing for having lower shields. Now, we are seeing them just making sure to hold other teams out. They want to hold this building. They don't have a bunker legend, so it will be a little bit harder to defend if they do get pushed, but that is all right. You don't necessarily need a caustic. Black Hat still holding down the fort on their one little building here. They are still safe in the circle. No one really has to move here. They are just making sure that they know where all the other teams are, keeping track of where they are. And there we see the other teams getting their scans in, and we do see Black Hat getting some extra damage off, building their shield up to red. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be seeing a lot of fights here because they know once they send, they are going to be inviting third parties in. So this is one of those situations where you don't want to be the first to fight because you know you're going to be the first to out, even if you win your fights. Ooh, Truman taking a little bit too much damage while peeking out, getting absolutely punished for peeking out even just a little bit. But Truman is Valkyrie, so that is something that will help him out with movement. And we do see Fangs trying to get some extra damage off here. And we do see Brotherhood in a fight outside of Climatizer. But Panic is going to have to back off because he lost his entire shield. But we do see Brotherhood trying to push into this fight, trying to get out because they are being safe. They know that they aren't full capacity here, and they are also getting shot down at by ULW. They know there are lots of other teams looking down at them, and this is going to be a risky play here. Oh, but ULW also getting shot in the back. They know that they're also surrounded. This area is starting to get a little bit too claustrophobic, and Brotherhood needs to make a play. They need to make a play for one of these teams, and they do choose to go for the team that is lower ground, and they are trying to secure this KP and placement with 12 squads left. Sab going backwards so that he can heal and make sure he can come back with his full team. And Ender protecting his team's back. So technically it is a 2v3 here with Brotherhood because Ender is making sure that their backs are covered. So with Sab and Panic being the only 2 shooters here, they need to finish this fight early because they're making a lot of noise and everyone can turn around and look and know that they are outside of the circle and they have to make that rotation. Now we do see Ender going in and they do get that 3 kill there, and we see Scalinetta on the fight with Feed, who was in the truck, in the train earlier, and they're going to be nailing these crispy PK shots. Oh! just decimating here, but they are getting third-partied. Now, this is one of those open locations you do not want to find yourself stuck in. And now they're getting shot out. Oh, Moretta, I believe from Team TikTok, is just laying down the damage here. TikTok holding out this team, making sure to punish them for staying inside the train. Ooh, just making that a laser fire with the R301. But TikTok is also taking a lot of damage. They want to back off to heal and shield and make sure they maintain where they are, because they are within the circle. They don't want to push out too far because they know that they can also get punished for that as well. But they want to hold out this team. But they are also getting shot down at. This is a busy location because a lot of these teams have been here since Circle 1 closed. So of course they've laid down what property they have. They've signed their leases. They're not moving for another year. And we do see that being put into play here. Scalinetta is actually surviving in the train. They are able to get some extra ammo, resources, and completely reset. So they're doing just fine for now. All right, we do see PNP holding down the fort, and Horus, a team returning from yesterday, coming in. But I think they're going to be in for a sore surprise when they realize there aren't really any spaces for rotations here. They know that their options are scarce, and they are going to have to hold down this tiny area that is incredibly open. But they do know that that is where the next circle is. Brotherhood, in a fight for their lives, does make it a 2v2, and now we do see Panic getting fully eliminated and has to make this connection. They have to get this fight or they're not going to make this worth it. And we do see Tharsis actually actively on the run from Brotherhood. Is that going to be enough? Can Treffy get away? Can Treffy rat out? I don't know if Sab is going to let him because he is in a full chase. But they are down a player, so they need to make that decision on whether or not they want to res Panic or not. They did grab his banner, so they do have that option. And they could do a mobile res, but not quite sure if that is what their play is going to be here, because that does kind of broadcast where they're going to be and what their team situation is. All right, now we do see Black Hat that has been surviving in this one building. They are going to have to move finally. So BRZ is also existing on the outside. They need to move in just a little bit, but they are trying to punish this Valkyrie. Ooh, with the shots, trying to punish La Scalinetta for making that late game rotation. Now Scalinetta might be able to take the rooftop here, but they know that there is not many options for them. So they are going to have to take the building, take the rooftop, even if it's not a great rotation. And they're going to find themselves in a dire situation with two team members down, and it's only down to Terode. He is going to have to fully heal up here as well. And Omiflans watching. They know that it's a 1v3. So of course they're going to full send. Omiflans trying to get this kill. Ooh, and does get it. So they have secured 3 extra kills for themselves. They've been holding down the fort here. And again, this is the beauty of Annabelle being on Caustic here in World's Edge. Caustic can be such a great late game character, and he is doing just that by establishing his dominance, saying, this is my building, I don't want you in here. Now we are going to see them have to move, so he is going to have to reset or use his ultimate. I don't think he's used it yet, so he does have that available for him. And now they get free reg shields just hand delivered to them. Now they do see other team members just absolutely getting decimated here because they were caught out, and that Havoc with the turbocharger absolutely shreds. We do see lots of other fights happening. This is 6 squads left in round 5. Oh, and we see Truman has the Kraber. If you remember yesterday, Truman with the Kraber was just disgusting. But in round 5 closing, it's going to be a lot of close quarters combat, so hopefully he can do some damage with that up close. This is going to be a mess, and we do see Brotherhood decimating in the kill feed as well. Truman trying to find any connection, trying to find any enemy caught out that might want to, dodge one of his Kraber shots or just tank it in the face. He is looking, and he is going to get a free shot. Ooh! And he does down no click. Oh, with the ruthless headshot there. And we do see Truman pushing up a little bit too much, but they do know that there are teams that are completely separated right now. They are trying to secure their KP. They are at 4 squads left now, and they do have 3. Truman has 3 KP, which is just for himself, and we don't know how much he has for his team yet, but we'll see after the scoring, after the first game. But yes, this is going to be if you remember, OnlyFans did win a game yesterday by playing higher positioning, and they were incredibly smart with how they decided to push. Ooh, and this team just have no idea that Truman is looking down at them with a Kraber, and they are going to have to use their Gibraltar bubble early, and they are going to be in trouble. That team has to push towards them, and Truman is just going to be looking down at them with the Kraber. Misses a shot, though, unable to connect, but that is all right. He has his teammates to cover him, and they are going to be able to get some extra damage here and get another team wipe here. And that is Truman as the kill leader with 5 kills now. I want to point out these incredible pings that are being put down by each team member here. It's 3 squads left, final circle. And this is not the kind of action that you see in NA or EMEA. This is final circle, and there are 3 squads left. Usually in NA, you see at least 6 squads. So I'm very happy to see that they have not let up in their aggression today. Truman trying to find any angle he can. He has plenty of Kraber shots left for an entire team if he wants to. Ooh, pushing out a little bit too far, though. He is going to get punished for that. It's all right, though. He didn't take too much damage. He's going to be just fine, but he is going to still look for an angle to see if he can get any more headshots. I want to point out that Truman on a Kraber is just not something you want in your lobby if you are playing to get that qualifier so you can get into the championships and finals. Ooh, and Truman's going to get some free shots here, but does not connect, unfortunately. Going to pull out his Valkyrie Q, try to get some extra damage, because this team does not have a lot of cover, but Truman not being able to connect his shots here. He needs to make this work. He has 3 shots left in his Kraber, and then he has to switch out his weapon for something else, because they are going to be seeing the round closing in just a moment, and they are going to wait their time. Truman, 2 shots left, not connecting quite yet, but the R301 beams are good. Oh, and look, they pushed right underneath them. They know that the team is right next to them, so they have to be careful about which fight they take, because there are 2 squads still left outside of them. OnlyFans did win an incredible victory last time because they were able to play positioning, and we do see them rotating very quickly. Now TikTok slowly moving in. That was the team that pushed down underneath OnlyFans. They're existing. They are slowly pushing out as slowly as they can, because they know that they are not in the best position, and they are fighting against a Caustic actively. OnlyFans still looking pretty strong here, having switched locations with all the teams, and they are taking so much damage. Oh, and Truman does connect with the shots, and now Gibraltar doesn't have any shields. They are trying to actively find this fight. These squads are still up, but they are finding any opening they can. Truman just absolutely shredding with the R301. It's still 3 squads left. Oh, and they all died immediately. And OnlyFans is the champion for the first game of the South American Lenovo Legion Masters qualifiers. And that is an incredible play. Again, I want to point out, I called that OnlyFans was in a really good position. They played so well. They played incredibly smart. They made sure to rotate and exchange positions from where their enemy teams were, making sure to make them play each other. And then they just took an angle and made sure that they just got all the damage that they needed. So let's take a look at the placement points for game number 1, if we have those points ready. And we do. OnlyFans. Oh my goodness. OnlyFans coming in with the hot score of 105 in game number 1. And TikTok in second place with 60 points, and Brotherhood with 55, Black Hat with 50, and La Scalinetta at 30 with 31 in 5th place. And BRZ is actually only 1 point off from being in 5th place with 30 points. So we see a lot of these teams actually showing up and being incredibly aggressive. They've learned how all of these other teams are going to be playing based off of yesterday. So of course, they're going to be fighting for that spot in qualifiers for finals next weekend. And we do see OnlyFans coming and showing up with 105. Now, we don't see Dupla in the squads today, but that is all right because they did qualify. And they are going to be seeing they're probably going to be seeing OnlyFans in finals if this continues. OnlyFans showing up with 105 points in game number 1 alone is incredible. I would love to find out how many kills they had total as a team, because that is just incredible work that they did together. Truman on a Kraber is not something you want to see in your lobbies. So hopefully their RNG does not work out for the other teams. But you know what? Honestly, for OnlyFans, I hope that they do get more Krabers, because I love seeing those crispy headshots. All right, we are going to be going into game 2 when all of our teams are ready. It's going to be on World's Edge again, but we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with game number 2.
on the moon, moon, moon. Fly when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are. Don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars. You'll be dancing, dancing on the moon.
One life like this. Let's live it up. We only get one life like this. Let's live it up.
Welcome back, everyone. This is before game number 2. We had an incredible game number 1. So we are going to be waiting for all the teams to be loading in. But game number 2 is going to be on World's Edge again. And remember, we're going to have one more map on World's Edge. So let's go ahead and take a look at the formatting and what you need to know about points and scoring and placement points. So first place is going to have 50 extra points, and every kill counts for 5 points. So again, we saw only Flans just absolutely decimating. We saw one team member, Truman, actually having 5 to 6 kills, which was a lot of points that they racked up. So of course they were going to get away with a 105-point game. So in first place, you get 50 extra points for placement. Second, 30, third, 20th, 20 points, and fourth, 15 points. So placement does matter, but in these lobbies, you want to be getting KP because placement is not going to be all that you can get. You are going to want to at least wipe 2 to 3 squads in order to place up really high and make sure that you get that lead, because we are seeing only Flans in first place with 105 points. That is a lot to make up for. You are not going to have a lot of time if they keep on performing the way that they have been. And you know what? It's another game on World's Edge. We may see them turn up just the way that they did because we see a lot of teams getting incredibly aggressive, especially when other teams land in their loot spots, which we saw a lot of fights just happening right off the drop because so many teams were contesting in the same location. So with these teams claiming their POIs, we might see a few drop changes, but maybe some teams will come back for revenge. Who knows? I'm really excited to see game number 2, and we're going to get that ready for you just in a minute. But I'm very excited. This is going to be very fun. You've seen how aggressive South America plays, and I absolutely love that. It is one of the most interesting gameplay features that I've seen from South America, how aggressive they are, how they love getting into firefights. They're not afraid to send and full send into a fight, but they are also very calculating. They are very careful about when they choose to send. They are very good at working together with teams, and they are actually pretty good at being able to push teams out of locations. We did see only Flans in the last match able to rotate around and make sure the last 2 remaining squads fought each other. So that's something that you don't think about with Apex. It's kind of like a game of chess, making sure that you do the least amount of work as possible sometimes, especially in a top 3 situation where the ring is closing, you're losing out on a lot of cover. So you want to make sure to utilize everything that you have at your arsenal, including making your enemies fight each other and make it a little bit easier for yourselves. So we're going to be seeing if they can do that again in game number 2. So let's go ahead and see if our teams are ready. I think they might be ready soon, but if not, we can keep on talking about only Flans and how their name makes me want to have more dessert. I don't usually have a sweet tooth, and I've actually never tried flan, but you know what? Their name and the way that they've been playing makes me feel like if I eat flan, I'll be a better FPS player. That's how things work, right? Like I should be able to get pred if I eat flans and act like them. Yeah. Anyways, enough of that. We are going into game number 2 here. Now we are going to be seeing this drop from north to south, and it looks pretty even. Thermal station is going to be the blue zone with the high loot area. So we're going to be seeing that, but we're not quite sure if anyone's going to be landing there. It was pointed out in chat, I did see from Armor, that no one went thermal station, which is interesting because in NA, a lot of teams do choose that location. But since it is a blue zone, maybe we'll see some teams going there. And again, we did see a lot of teams contesting each other right off the drop, so maybe there's going to be some changes. We see FA with EDR already scanning to make sure they know where the second circle is going to be because they want to move. They know that they need to be on top of rotations. So smart play off of them, but they're not going to be able to get a lot of loot in this one location. This is not one of those great loot areas either. So Pepe also in unnamed locations right outside of Fragment. They're going to be looting. ULW chose to go towards the Lava City next to Big Mod. And Tharsis, they seem to really like Climatizer. Again, the loot here is pretty good. You get a lot of decent loot. You may get 2 shields, but we're not really seeing a lot of fighting right off the bat here. We do see Team Dust, which we didn't see show up last match, but hopefully they will make up for that in game number 2. And Spetsnaz was the team that did get eliminated early. We did see them in a fight right off the drop, and it looks like they are actively in a fight now too as well. Wherever they decide to go, they are in a fight, but they did end up getting that down on that Wraith. They are fighting another team actively, making sure that they are laying down the law, trying to take this POI for themselves because they want this loot. They aren't doing too well. They have the Prowler and Hemlock on their Gibraltar player, and it's actually a blue that hears this fighting and is going to come in. This is a full 3v3 now, but a blue does have less great of shields here. So they are going to be a little bit careful about how they approach this. They want to know how this third party is going to work here. They want to establish themselves in this location, and they could rotate out if they want to. They do have an Ashe, and oh, interestingly enough, they actually do not have a Gibraltar on a Blue's team. Oh, but they're absolutely decimating with the devotion. Look at that recoil control. We are seeing this fight for their lives, and they want to establish their dominance here. And PRDX Stressado actually ended up taking out the Gibraltar, and they don't have a shield legend here. We are seeing 3 different teams fighting here. And oh my goodness, with the devotion recoil control from Dogs there, he is going to be able to heal right off on this door, and his team is going to try and push from behind. And they are going to be able to clear this building. And the Bangalore play is very interesting. It's an interesting choice for competitive, but we do see that, oh, Dogs is just absolutely shredding with the devotion here, and that recoil control is something to be heard of. And Stressado does go down, so now it's going to be a 2v3 against Racing Club. Racing Club heard the drama and wants to get in on the action. They are fully nading. They are going to be bullying a Blue out of this building. And we do see them repositioning, trying to find where the last 2 team members went. But a Blue did just rotate out, which is an incredibly smart play because they know that Racing Club is healthy. They know they can't really contest them, so they're going to play it safe and just play it as 2 members of their team left. So now Racing Club gets the spoils of this location. All right, so they are going to be rotating out. Unfortunately, they did lose out on their Ashe, who could give them that quick teleport, but that is all right. They didn't really lose out on a shield legend, so they're going to be doing okay, but it looks like they are looking to go back in. Now in Lava Fissure, we do see 2 teams here. Only Flans choosing to loot. Ooh, with the Eva 8 and Car. Now Fangs is going to try to get his ultimate early, making sure he uses that accelerant. But we don't see them actually fighting too early here, which is fine. This area they do want to keep for themselves. They want to make sure that they are establishing their area here. They are getting shield swaps ready, and they do have a scan legend. And, of course, Caustic is very good for this sort of play here, and Truman is going to go for that scan. And look at this team play here from Fangs as well, making sure that his scan legend is covered, making sure that he won't get fired at. So they do have a lot of shield swaps here. It is blue, but it's not too bad considering there might be a lot of fights here, and they are in the circle for the next circle as well, so they know that they're going to be safe, so they can stay here for a little bit, especially since their Caustic player does need to bunker down and kind of build this defense. So their Caustic player can do just that. But it looks like they're opting to move away from here. Even though they are within the circle, they do want to move away. There is a drop that it looks like they are trying to go for, but they're also being cautious of how many players might be in the area. So they are going to go for a scan. They do note that there is an enemy in the area, so they are going to try to get this drop and defend this location. And it might be interesting to see if they go back or if they decide to push this fight, because they are not aware that a Blue is only a 2-man squad now. Ooh, and it is the G7 Scout, so now they are finding space to see who can take this. And, you know, honestly, even though I'm not the best with the Scout, it is still better that you take it than let your team lose out on the chance that an enemy team might get that and use it against you. So they are going to be swapping that out, giving that to Fangs. And it looks like Brotherhood is still alive as well. 18 squads left. Round 1 closing. We didn't see a lot of early game fights. Oh, but AVC is coming up and moving in on Brotherhood. Yeah, AVC is slowly moving up, but it looks like they're healing after having just gotten out of a fight as well. So they're going to be careful, knowing that there is another team in this area. And Sem Org is actually in. They're actually here. We were talking about this location not being used before, Thermal, and they're actually here. They were able to loot out. Look at their loot. Looks pretty decent. The Havoc doesn't have a turbo, so that's going to be a little bit of a challenge during fights. Brotherhood did end up getting downs here. Not quite sure in which team this is. Oh, it's MRG's team here. And they are going to be able to get this finish, and it's going to be an unfortunate finish here for this team. But they are actively running and trying to get away. But I don't think Brotherhood is going to let them get away with that just yet. AVC moving in slowly. They did hear the gunfire. They know where to go. They know what they're looking for. They are going to try to contest Brotherhood here and keep them from getting back into their Harvester location. Oh, but looks like Brotherhood is actually in another fight here. Oh, and Panic has the Kraber. Not able to connect any shots here, though. Having to reload, and they're pushing up a little bit further, but they do need to be careful. Ender is taking a little bit too much damage. Ooh, and Panic missing another shot again, and Sab does go down because they are getting cross-shot now. There are too many teams looking down at them, and they need to be able to move out and rotate. This is not a good position for Brotherhood, and Brotherhood is one of those teams that we wanted to see show up, especially after yesterday when they were eliminated early in some matches. And Panic trying desperately to get away. Panic does get away with 10 HP, but does get downed, and that is going to be the end of their run with the Kraber, which is unfortunate. And AVC did push up a little bit, but they do see the other full team, so they are going to go back and hold down their bunker in Harvester. And this is actually Semorg that we saw full sending here. They, even without the Havoc turbocharger, they were able to take down 2 members of Brotherhood here. So now they do have their ultimates. They're looking pretty good. They have full loot. They know that Brotherhood only has 1 member left, and they also know that AVC is in the area. So with Brotherhood being down to 1 member and being able to potentially grab banners, they may be able to get a res off because it is only circle number 2. But this is going to be incredibly risky because, again, South American players are incredibly aggressive. So we are going to see if they do decide to go for that res. If they do, we might see several teams focusing Brotherhood. All right, and we do see several team members still outside of the final circle. There are some teams that already know and are coexisting in the space already, and we might be seeing them fight actively as well early on because they do want to establish their areas. Now, we do see Only Flans is still alive. Our number 1 team currently after game number 1 is still alive. They are actually in the first circle as well, too. So they have been fully preparing for end game ever since they landed. And then Racing Club actively in a fight as well. Ooh, downs CC. Oh, but also this is Team Feed, and now it's down to Quillen, and he is the last member left, but Only Flans is not giving them a chance to rest here. Even though it is a Valkyrie and she might be able to get that ult off, they are not going to give her a chance. They're trying to actively find where this last member of Feed went. And La Scalinata is also on the outside of this, hearing all of the firing. They are trying to get a rotation point in and make sure that they can secure some KP as well, because it looks like they have not secured any for themselves quite yet, but they do know that there are other teams here, so they need to be careful. And they are taking a little bit too much storm damage as well. Only Flans trying to smoke out this last member, actively throwing so many resources, unable to secure that kill just yet, but Annabelle did get purple shields, so it wasn't all for nothing. But Only Flans still actively trying to get this last kill here, and she is proving to be so squirrely as a movement legend here. This Valkyrie is just trying to fight for her life. Right, we do see Only Flans actively tracking the other team that is moving. They know that there's a full squad, and so they are going to play a little bit cautiously, trying to get some shield damage here so they can get knowledge on what exactly they are up against. They know that there's 1 purple shield. Only Flans re-upping on their resources, and a blue. Stressato still at white shields, not looking too great, but, you know, they are rotating in. They have 2 purples. They should be all right. They might be able to quickly work him up to a blue shield at least, but they are looking to see if they can get a rotation point in. They are still a little bit further outside of the circle, which is not something you want to be doing in these lobbies. You want to be getting out. You want to be into that circle because you know that several teams have already been playing that circle, that endgame circle, since they landed. We see Dogs just scouting ahead for his team, knowing that he can get out of fights really quickly with Wraith's Q, but not seeing anything, so they're going to rotate back into Harvester, but they are outside of circle. Round 2's damage does start to hurt a little bit, and we do see Black Hat rotating around a blue. They may have gotten the scan that there was a team there, but it was a good rotation point. Now they're going to be able to move in. Black Hat was at 2nd or 3rd place in the leaderboard overall in PNP, living inside of Lava Fissure here. and they are going to be making sure that no other teams can rotate out. But also, the circle is going to pull in towards launch point, so they do need to be careful about how they rotate in, how they choose to go in, because it's going to be one of those situations where they're going to be caught out. Ooh, and we see Nice with the Kraber shot there, cracking, not fully able to down here, but they do need to move into the circle, taking a little bit too much damage, making themselves known. Now they need to find a way that they can push in, and it's actually Semorg that they were damaging here. Semorg also not looking too great, not having a lot of cover here, but Sky taking too much damage, has to fully heal, and you can see how the shield, how the base health damage is ticking away in circle number 2, especially with it having fully closed. So they're going to have to make a decision very quickly about where they want to go and where they want to be, because these teams are not going to give them a chance to keep healing. All right, with round number 3, we see 16 squads left, and we do see Aimbot Machine taking down Kujiro, which is unfortunate for them, but they may be able to get that KP for their team, which is great. And Semorg does need to find an opening into where they can rotate, because they are taking too much circle damage and they are just going to be gate kept out. And they're going to have to use way too many resources just to exist in that one location, and they have to move even further to get to the next circle. And we do see Ender actively looking and shooting at them to hold them out, making sure that they know they cannot move. But they do pull out the Valkyrie ult. This may be enough for them to get into the circle, but where they can go is going to be a mystery, because we did see a lot of these teams already setting up camp. So they're getting these free scans. They know where they're going to be. They know they have to take a fight, so they are going to choose to take this fight with this team that was holding them out up here. Ooh, and Nice with the lovely beam with the Havoc and no turbocharger, but they are going to have to use a bubble here, and they're going to take this fight. It is a 3v2, so they could win this, but they're making a lot of noise, especially outside of the circle. It's actually Team FA that is getting, absolutely lasered by Sky here. Now it is a 3v1. They know that they can secure this extra KP, but they also need to move into the circle quickly, so they need to end this as soon as they can. They are securing all the KP that they can. It is now 14 squads left. They are trying to find the last member of FA, but unable to do so, and they know that they have to move into circle, so they may run into him anyways. So they're going to make that rotation. They're going to move in. And only Flans also finding themselves in a fight here. They do have some KP, but they know that's not enough. They want more kills. So with Annibal being able to put down his Bunker Legend abilities, we're going to see them fighting against Scalinetta. It is a 3v3, and both teams are looking pretty healthy here. Ooh, and Aimbot just shredding with the R301, fully chasing only Flans, but taking some damage to the gas and getting a little bit stunned, unable to move. So now this lets only Flans get a little bit extra damage in, but we did see Aimbot have to move back because he was taking a little bit too much gas damage. So only Flans actively holding down the fort, trying their best to make sure that this team does not push them. And only Flans might find themselves doing a rotation here because they know that they're actively in a fight. They are going to get contested again. They may see themselves getting third-partied here as well, so they're being very cautious about how they choose their next steps. All right, we do see only Flans trying to defend their position. Ooh, Truman absolutely shredding this team member who tried to push up and punishing him. Ooh, Fangs does go down, though. The bubble shield did not come out just in time, but Fangs is going to get that full shield, full res off, and Truman doing some work here, holding down the fort for his team. These PK shots just landing. Oh, but he's not able to connect with the Wraith, but he is fully chasing, knowing that he can get this kill, but he's going to be overextending. He's going to be risking getting caught out by another team here. Fangs is down again. Unfortunate, and Annibal does get red shields, but it's not going to be enough for him to be able to get his teammate Fangs back up. Yeah, it looks like Fangs was fully eliminated, unfortunately. This is not going to be a good look for them, but Scalinetta also doing pretty poorly. They're down to one member, so they need to fully back off. And Racing Club is coming into third party. This might be the end of OnlyFlans here if they're not careful. And we do see Racing Club just coming in, and we do see Krim trying to get his ultimate back here, but unable to do so. Does get it, but We're going to see. It looks like OnlyFans is opting to try and res Fangs here. They might be able to get that mobile res if they do craft that. Scalinetta not looking too good right now. Finding a place to exist as a solo player on World's Edge with this lobby is incredibly difficult because you are going to be focus fired. You are going to be caught out immediately. I swear to God, South American players have eagle eyes. They are able to see where every single player is within a location. And again, like I said, this is like a game of chess. So we see Black Hat Esports existing on the outside of these rocks. Not a good position to be in. SemOrg also fighting to get a spot inside the final circle, but they are not able to get any traction, and they do have to pull out the Gibraltar bubble a little bit early. They may see themselves using the Valkyrie ultimate, but they are getting heavily punished for that, taking a little bit of damage. They may have to fight for their next spot, and it's not going to look good because they did take some damage here. Black Hat having to fight outside the circle, gets downed. It's only down to one person. OnlyFans decimating them, but they're also outside of the circle. Annabelle has to be careful, trying to secure as much KP as he can before he gets eliminated. Does get that KP, but does get eliminated at 11th place, where you do not get any extra points. SemOrg is still alive here, trying for every single bit that they can to get their kills, to get their KP. And this is Racing Club fighting SemOrg, and that was a huge nade, huge thermite nade there, downing one. Now it is a 2v2, and they are actively chasing, knowing that they can win this fight. SemOrg, though, choosing the high ground, and now it's just down to Nice. And BRZ is also coming in, making sure that they do secure that third-party placement here. Oh, but BRZ does decide to pull back here, making sure that they can go fully heal, get their shields up as well, and get all of their resources to fight. And they are actively moving in. They're going to be okay moving into the final circle, circle number 5. So they've got 43 seconds. They're taking it slow, making sure that they have all of the resources that they need. Now we're going to be seeing a lot of fighting here because a lot of these teams have to move into the same location through the same funnel path. So we do see that these teams are having to move in together. They are all actively looking at each other and shooting, but that's going to be a lot of noise. Again, all the teams that have already established their location since they dropped, they're going to be looking at them, and it's going to be free kills here. Right, we do see BRZ just playing the edge of circle. They are okay to exist here, but they do need to end up finding some better cover. SemOrg not looking too good. They did have the high ground, but they are down a player. Ooh, and Mirana taking a little bit too much damage. They do need to fully heal or shield swap, and they are actively getting pushed by BRC. SemOrg getting taken down. It's only down to one member, and PNP is actively trying to save themselves here as well, but they don't have shields. They don't have the health. I don't know how they're going to be able to do this. And it's Horus pushing this team, trying to secure the team KP, and they do get that team wipe. That's 3 KP for them at 6th place. And there's 6 squads left in this final circle as game number 2 is coming to a close here. We are going to see this circle close in, and so many teams are existing. This is one of the harder circles to fight against because you have very little cover. You have to use every single rock and crevice that you can. And Horus pulling out the crispy wingman shots here, just absolutely making sure that Kunja's team cannot make it in, and they did get eliminated here. Now it is the 3 squads left for the final circle that is going to be closing in 54 seconds. All right, we do see BRZ still alive, still existing, making sure that they are looking down at all these squads. They do have a good position, but they are going to have to move first. And we do see Crowley's team pushing up a little bit, trying to take their spot. So we are seeing 3 teams existing, 3 full teams, may I add, existing and looking at each other. Horus trying to find their opening, trying to find where they can go. Because again, this circle is not the best final circle. There's not a lot of cover. You have to play all these rocks. You have to make sure that you're being conscious of where the other team members are and where exactly they could be taking. For the next position. So you want to get there first. We do see all of these teams having incredible KP. So with that point, they are going to be able to get 2nd place, at least 2 squads left. It looks like Otako was only a rat and was taken out. Horus with Kill Leader as well. PRV taking a little bit too much damage, has to fully heal, and will be able to do that. But he is going to be taking too much health damage. He does get knocked. It is going to be a 2v. Ooh, it's going to be a 2v3 here. BRZ moving in. This may be BRZ's game. They do have the higher ground. They've been playing everything so carefully. Just better. Shredding with the Volt here. Just getting so much damage, and BRZ are your winners for game number 2. Yes, so they did such a fantastic job of biding their time, making sure, again, that to make sure that their enemy teams were fighting each other, and making sure that they played placements, and also securing kills whenever they could. Third partying sucks. Getting third partied is the worst, but it is an active thing that you can do in this game. It's how the game can be played, and that's exactly what they did. They made sure to make sure that the other teams were fighting each other, and they played positioning so well, making sure to take the high ground, rotating around the rocks, making sure to usurp other teams from those locations that they wanted and those positions, and they were able to secure the kill. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the placement points after game number 2, see where BRZ has pulled themselves up to. All right, we do see Only Flan still sitting in first place with 135 points. Brotherhood has moved up and is at 91, but that is still a significant gap. Oh, I'm sorry. The scores just got updated, so we're going to be looking at the updated scores. Only Flans is at 135. That has not changed. BRZ has actually pulled themselves up to a second place at 120 points. Now, this is only 15 points difference, which is not that bad. That can totally be doable in the next few games. Brotherhood is sitting in third with 91 points. So Brotherhood is going to have to struggle and try to take BRZ's second place down. TikTok is in fourth with 90, and Horus is actually tied in fourth place, but is sitting in fifth right now for 90 as well. And Sem is sitting in sixth place with 60. So with all of this being said, Only Flans did only get 30 points extra in this match. So it's entirely possible that Brotherhood and BRZ can take first place overall today. But we're going to see that was only game number 2. We're going to be seeing how they're going to be playing, how exactly aggressive they're going to be getting after all of this. Next game is going to be the last game on World's Edge, and the next 2 are going to be on Stormpoint. So very excited to see who's going to be switching up, how they play, if there are going to be any legend changes, which I don't think that's going to be the thing. I think they're going to be looking at early rotations. And again, this last circle was one of the messier circles that we've seen. But we'll get game number 3 ready for you in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, game number 3 will be underway.
Stop this gravity, it keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. I laid awake just begging to let go. I almost got to suicidal thoughts, but you stepped in. An angel sent from heaven showed me how to live again. Now I'm falling and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. about the times you let me go. Falling through the cracks, emotional. I struggle to see what your reasons are. Sitting in your violent silence breaks my heart. Turn the key used to be our getaway car. Now I only wanna get away from where we are. Gotta find my way to you, even though you're next to me. No matter what I do, your heart is drifting out of reach. Head on the water, I'm swimming hard and trying to keep this alive. Gotta find my way to you.
Welcome back. We are waiting before game number 3. Really quickly, I want to shout out that this tournament is brought to you by Lenovo Legion, which offers gaming PCs, monitors, and accessories that are stylish on the outside and savage on the inside. So let's take a quick recap of the look of scores from last game. We did see BRZ pull themselves up and they were able to get into second place just from game number 2. We are seeing them at 120 points, and OnlyFlans again was only able to secure 30 points. So they're sitting at first place with 135. If they want to hold that first spot, they are going to have to pull out another 100-point game to really solidify their lead, because that would be a significant lead. Brotherhood is doing pretty well, sitting at 91. I do want to see them getting a little bit more aggressive, maybe a little bit smarter with their pushes, but they're doing pretty fine. They might be able to challenge BRZ here, but we did see BRZ pulling out all of their stops with how well they were doing in positioning, being able to know timing for fighting, and they did a great job of working together as a team. So let's go ahead and look at the schedule again, which if you weren't here, we were talking about this earlier when we started the stream. So this is the second qualifier, the second day of qualifiers. And as you can see, we are starting at around 2 p.m. BRT, and that is going to be 10 a.m. PST. But for finals, it is going to be an hour later, and it's going to be on the 10th as well, which is really fun. We are going to be seeing 6 games then instead of 5, which is also going to be an incredible ride because, again, South America has had one of the most aggressive playstyles that I've ever seen in Apex. So in terms of competitive Apex, South America is where you want to be watching because they have the most aggressive plays. So if you are someone who likes to go and dive in, just guns blazing like me, that is definitely what you want to be watching, and you don't want to miss the finals. So make sure to mark your dates. Make sure to check the times on your local calendars as well, because I know everyone is in different time zones. So make sure to mark your calendars for the 10th. Now, we are getting game number 3 started for you. We're waiting for everyone to come in. This is going to be on World's Edge, the last game on World's Edge, and then the next 2 will be on Storm Point. Again, we see Storm Point matches start to go a little bit slower just because it is about 15% bigger than World's Edge. Now, in my opinion, I don't feel like Storm Point is quite ready for competitive yet, but it is one of those matches, it is one of those maps where it is pretty fun to watch teams play because you do see fights happening in certain areas of the map. Again, like yesterday, we did see a lot of teams choosing to fight in specific choke points because they were just unable to rotate quickly. So if you think that you're rotating slowly into World's Edge, you are going to feel that in Storm Point. If you are not rotating quickly, you are going to get punished for it very heavily. And we've seen how quick it is in these lobbies to get third-partied and fourth-partied because a lot of people like to fight. Now we're going into game number 3, and it is going to be an interesting drop here. Now we're going to be looking at whether or not we can see if anyone goes into Thermal Station, which was a blue zone last time, but no one was going there before, and now it's actually Lava Fissure that is the blue zone. So we do see a lot of teams wanting to go up north. Skyhook has some good loot. Survey Camp, you will always be guaranteed a weapon, which is why that is my drop area of choice when I play ranked. So we're going to be seeing a lot of these teams spread out here, and we actually do see Brotherhood going back to staging their go-to place. And yes, As predicted, no one is going to thermal station. Now we do see two teams. We do see two teams in Lava Siphon, which is one of the better places for loot, but you will easily find yourselves getting into a fight here. And we are looking at the overall map. It looks like a lot of teams have picked Skyhook, and we might be seeing some early game fights here. That is a lot of teams in Skyhook, actually. I think that's about 5 teams, if I'm looking at this correctly. That is going to be a madhouse unless there are some rotations that happen with these teams. And it looks like Kunja's team is actually looking to go into countdown because they don't want to take this fight. They see how many people are existing within Skyhook and they don't want to take this fight. And it actually looks like Spetsnaz is using trials, but I'm not quite sure if they're in a fight yet. So if our observers could go to that overlook, that would be great. But it looks like they are actively using trials to try and get some extra loot, because if you use the trials, you are able to get some pretty good shields, you can get some good weapons, but it does generate a lot of noise and everyone knows where you are, which is unfortunate. So you can see all of these teams existing here. TikTok is existing within this area in Skyhook. They are operating on the edge though, so they could easily rotate out. These teams actually may not fight here. ULW also existing within Skyhook. And a Blue has picked Big Mod as their drop. This is one of the better places you can go for loot if you do have enough credits and you can buy some of these juiced up weapons, which is very nice, but it does end up becoming one of those things where you have to sort out your points and make sure that you're using the materials for grabbing guns. And it looks like ULW is actually extending further. Ooh, but getting shot at. They are having to be careful about their rotations here, and it looks like they are opting to leave because they don't want to be giving themselves too much here. And a Blue was being the aggressor here, making sure to put down the pressure and secure this zone as their loot zone. Listrasado is doing their best to make sure to keep these teams out, but he might be overextending here. I'm not quite sure where his team members are, but he might be overextending. But it looks like ULW is fully disengaging and choosing to rotate out, so they are going to be doing that. Flavim does change out the alternator for the R301, which is a pretty good call. Tharsis, again, over acclimatizer, which it doesn't seem like he is being... they're being contested, so that's great. They're going to get all that loot. Team Dust as well in Overlook. Oh, we did see that Spetsnaz did end up getting that rotation out of Skyhook because they did not want to be there. And it looks like Black Cat is actually going to Thermal, so that's not their drop spot, but they do want to go get the loot here because they know that no one was here. So they're going to be rotating out, but they do get scans on some enemy players here, so they're going to try to shoot down. They do have God Spot. They're going to have all of the angles that they need for this team. So with the Wingman, they're going to be trying to get some shots here, and it looks like Scally is actually in a fight with the team that landed in Siphon. Scally trying to get some extra damage, knowing that one of the enemy team members has white shield is going to be great for their confidence. They're going to try to push in, and it's actually only Flans that is in a fight for their lives currently in this location. They're not looking too great. Annabelle does not have too much health. He is going to have to fully heal, and he might be able to get this off. If he can, then they stand a fighting chance. But Scally also seeing another team come in, they're going to back off slightly, but we do see Ariel just absolutely getting a little bit too aggressive here, trying to push and get extra damage. They do know that only Flans has a purple shield, so that's going to deter them from moving in just yet. Ariel seeming to disengage and go from underneath. Looks like they do want to rotate out. Only Flans not wanting to let this opportunity pass them by. They are looking to see where they went and try to be aggressive and push them. Oh, and there are so many teams in here as well. They know that they are being really loud and making too much noise and bringing on the attention of everyone else. And another one of the reasons why Siphon is one of the worst places to be in a active fight is because so many people can just fire down at you. And only Flans does secure the kill here. They are getting downs, but they have to make the finish and they have to secure that TP before these other teams push them, because there are a ton of teams living in this area with them. Ooh, Fangs unable to get his shield off, and he does take too much damage. He is going to have to wait to heal. Annabelle trying to create some space for Fangs to heal. Does push out, but as a Caustic player, he can't get too aggressive pushing out like this by himself, but Truman is here as his backup, and they are going to be fully chasing this single member that tried to take them out, and they do get the kill on Manguito, and they do end up getting that KP, so they are going to be just fine. A blue is actually just sitting on the other side. Ooh, absolutely decimates MRG. They're pushing into this fight. They want to establish this area as theirs. Misses the PK shot. Oh, but lands a juicy 94. But can his teammates capitalize off of that damage done? And they do. Stressado was able to secure the KP, but he is actively getting shot at as well. There is another fight that they're having to be careful about. A Blue having to back off. They're going to try to rotate out of this area, out of Siphon, which has been such a hot spot for so long. All right, and we do see a Blue holding two different positions, but they are way too separated. This is not going to be good for their team. And Fix, he gets hit for way too much, and OnlyFawns down one member, but they are going to get that Gibraltar quick res here, and they are holding their ground. They are making sure that they have cover. They are doing just fine. They are able to make that recovery. Annabelle is going to be able to get that full heal off. OnlyFawns looking pretty good starting out, and this is only round one closing, and there are 18 squads left. A Blue down one player, but they did get their banner. They are going to try to res here. They did ping the res, but it looks like OnlyFawns is not going to give them the chance to do that. They are pushing up aggressively. They want to make sure that they get punished for missing out on one team member, so they are actively pushing up to try and take whatever they can here. And Truman, knowing that he only has blue shields, the enemy has blue shields, they're going to try to push. Now we do see Dust rotating into this incredibly high action area, and they know that there's fighting going on. They need to be careful about how they approach this, especially since the Valkyrie ultimate is pretty obvious on telling you where you're going to be going and telling the enemy teams where you are. And looks like they did just get scanned by another Valkyrie ultimate, so they may be getting dropped on as well. So Dust has to fully establish their building and has to bunker down for just a moment. All right, now we do see Dust trying to find some loot. They aren't doing too well on shields. Oh, and suddenly it is a party at Thermal. Look at all these teams coexisting in the same area, and we do see Mad's team struggling to find any space to move up. Brotherhood is sitting here in that squad, in that building, and they are making sure to hold down that fort. They don't want anyone else to approach them. They want to keep this spot for them. So they are taking a little bit too much damage. Brotherhood does lose out on one member, Ender, but they are going to be able to get that res for free. But that is going to create an opening for the other teams if they choose to push, like FA is looking to do. But they know that they were able to get that res off, so they're going to be careful. And it looks like EDR is making sure to keep an eye out behind them in that choke point, because that is one of the worst places to be fighting, because there's not a lot you can do about a team funneling into you. We do see FA just actively keeping an eye out on all the teams that are around this area. This is a lot, especially since the final circle seems to be a thermal circle. So a lot of teams are going to be pushing in, and they need to be watching the choke points.
Enemy spotted.
All right, we do see Tharsis moving in, trying to gatekeep this team out, but they are also still outside of the circle. And again, in South American lobbies, you do not want to be caught outside of the circle too long, because you are going to be focus fired. And while they could get some KP, again, this is 18 squads left, so you're not going to be getting any extra placement points. So you do want to be careful, because if KP is the only points that you're getting, you better make sure that you are having at least 6 kills to make it worthwhile. But looks like Team TikTok is choosing to stay within this choke point and hold the high ground here, but they are actively getting shot at by the team that is in God Spot. And AVC trying to find an opening within this tunnel, trying to find a place that they can rotate into, but are struggling because the other teams have established themselves and their areas. So we see Team TikTok waiting at the choke, trying to see if they can catch any of these team members out, but AVC is choosing to go the long way around, which we do know there is another team guarding that choke point as well. So it's going to be a struggle either way. BRZ, our victors from last game, moving in through Harvester, trying to find a way to get into the circle as well. Horus taking the back of Tree here. Now, this is one of my favorite points. This is one of my favorite places to be, because you can overlook all of Tree, and you're able to look all the way across into Siphon as well. Now, Horus trying to find their opening, again, guarding that choke point as well. FA just biding their time. They know that once the circle closes, there aren't going to be any teams that really take that rotation point. So they're just guarding and making sure that they can hold that point down. Pepe also making the same rotation that we saw BRZ making earlier. So they may run into BRZ later, which is going to be an interesting fight because BRZ has been pretty aggressive and very good at playing together as a team. So Pepe also only has one purple shield and they are struggling a little bit. So we may see them switching out shields to help each other out. Now Tharsis is in a fight at the demolished train yard here. They are outside of the circle, so they can't stay here too long. Ooh, doing enough damage, but they are down one member and they are going to be losing this fight if they don't move because this circle is going to hurt Gui too much and he does not have any base heals. So we're going to be seeing if they can win out on this fight because this is taking way too long. A blue also down to one member though. If they can fight, if they can win this, they may be taken out here. A blue trying and gets taken out. They should have been rotating in a little bit sooner, but that is all right. Oh, and OnlyFlans punishing Kujero's team for trying to use their Valkyrie ultimate, absolutely decimating them, gets the kills, and now they have 4 KP and are the kill leaders here as Truman takes that massive shot and just absolutely decimates the other team. And they are still within circle, so they don't need to rotate in too much. So they are doing just fine, but they do need to find a better position. Now, we do see Spetsnaz actually surviving longer game, which we didn't see them do too much in the first 2 games. So I think they have learned and they have been rotating in very quickly, which is great to see. We love to see the adaptations. We love to see how well they do. Now, AVC is the team that is actually in staging, but it looks like they're going to be rotating out because they know that this is not a good position to be in, especially when they don't have bunker legends. Without a bunker legend, staging is a little bit harder to keep. Ooh, but Kunjas is just absolutely decimating with the charge rifle, making that laser work for him, getting all the damage he can, and he does have a red shield now. So they do have 2 KP, 16 squads left, and circle number 3 is closing. This is a lot of squads left in the South American region for round number 3. This is going to be interesting. All right, AVC trying to find an opening to move up because they do need to move out of staging and they don't want to be caught out by these teams that are potentially looking down at them because they know that this is a very open area. There's very little cover. There is Gibraltar's shield, but that only lasts a few seconds and that is best used in a fight. So they're trying to hold off on the resources. They are rotating now. And AVC might have this for free, but again, these choke points are going to be heavily guarded here, especially at this moment. And OnlyFlans still surviving, doing just fine. They did get Fangs back, so they are moving into this rotation. Ooh, but Annabelle is taking a little bit too much damage. They are going to have to fully heal and reset, and this choke point is going to be a little bit dangerous, and they know this. And Truman is looking out for any enemy team members. Oh, and does find them, but has to back off and bat because he took a little bit too much damage, and they want to be going into this fight fully healed. Annabelle still using his Phoenix kit, does get it off. Now they have to end up making the push or going backwards. Pushing up, trying to get an angle on this enemy team. Oh, and it's Team TikTok holding the high ground here, making sure that they are holding out OnlyFlans. Ooh, and they do have their Gibraltar ultimate they are bringing down. They have the G7 Scout and the Mastiff. TikTok just biding their time. They're doing fine. They're not taking too much damage. They're going to be just fine if they hold this ground, and that's exactly what they do. They're able to push this team out, and I don't think that they're going to be sticking around. They can't find an opening. So OnlyFlans is struggling a little bit here to find a way to get inside this choke point. And TikTok is going to be fine if they decide to rotate in. They are getting responded back with another Gibraltar ultimate as well. So OnlyFlans is pushing in now with the Caustic ultimate as well, trying to provide some space just to get inside the circle because it is closing in 10 seconds. Now the Gibraltar bubble does go down, but ooh, a good thermite burning 2 members of TikTok, and the crossfire here was almost enough, but it's down to Truman in OnlyFlans, and he does have his red shield, but it's not going to be enough. He is fighting outside of the circle. He needs to get in if he wants to secure any KP, and he was unable to, and TikTok does win and gets that 3 KP off of OnlyFlans. OnlyFlans was eliminated at 13th place, and there are 12 squads left, and it is circle number 4. And we do see Brotherhood holding down the fort here at one place that they have been at for quite some time. Semorg also fighting for their spot here underneath. Sky taking a little bit too much damage, but they were able to secure this KP. So now they have a full team and gold shields. And Sky is going to be able to fully reset, and they're going to be doing just fine. But Semorg actually in another fight here. Ooh, having to be careful because they do need to reset. Mirana taking a little bit too much damage, does get the shield swap. They may be able to take this fight, but these are two full squads actually fighting, and they were not able to get much time to breathe. They're also making a lot of noise, so they know that other teams in the area may try to push as a third party, because this is technically a fourth party. We see Scalinetta, the team that was pushing in, trying to get some sort of damage and some sort of KP, but they are down their Wraith players, so it's going to be a 2v3 here. Ooh, and they may be getting caught out. Sky going in aggressively, getting the crack with the Mastiff. The Gibraltar bubble does come down, but they aren't pushing quite yet. They're playing it a little bit safe. There are so many nades that are coming out, so they're being a little bit careful about how they push. Mirana also took too much damage. Ooh, they are getting pushed from the top here. Again, the cracks with the Mastiff shots here takes down EDR. Sky trying to get out, trying to save his life and position himself behind an enemy, making sure that he is doing everything he can to support his team here, but also stay alive. And they are getting the res, which was a risky res, and now they're getting punished for it. Oh my goodness. And nice kills EDR, and Sky gets the kill on Madsen, but Semorg is now struggling with another third party here. They are fighting for their lives. Mirana taking a little bit too much damage. Oh, but does connect the PK shots and takes out AD. Oh my goodness. Beautiful shots there with the Peacekeeper. If he had not landed that, I don't know if they would have won that. But now Semorg has all of these boxes to get their loot from, and they can fully reset. And they are still within the circle, so they can stay here, which is an incredible play. Now, Sky is kill leader with 5 kills and 2 assists, so this is a huge game for Semorg. This is going to be a big game if they're able to get higher placement. Again, you start getting placement points at 10, which gives you 1 point, and it starts going up from there. So this is going to be an incredibly good game for Semorg if they are able to survive into late game. Now, it looks like Spetsnaz is down 2 players as well, so it's going to be a rat fest here for them. But they may be able to survive. Tharsis is also a rat here, kind of surviving close by. So we may be seeing a 1v1 fight here soon, which would be very interesting. So it looks like Racing Club is also a full 3 stack as well. Ooh, but you know, with these rats being around, one problem that they're going to have is that there are a lot of bloodhounds in this lobby, and they might be getting sniffed out pretty soon. Team TikTok doing all right, just making sure that they are looking around, keeping an eye on where their other enemies are. 7 squads left, and round 5 is going to be closing in 30 seconds. Team TikTok is living right underneath Godspot, and in Godspot we still have Black Hat Esports just trying to look down at all the other squads. TikTok does get their door almost destroyed here, so they need to be careful that they don't get rid of their cover. So they are just keeping an eye out. This is one of the more interesting places to be. Usually you want to be in the center underneath here when you have a caustic, because then you're able to deny anyone coming into your building and you can actually heavily defend it. But unfortunately they do not have any bunker legends. So we see Brotherhood still alive and well, having dropped down to try and get into circle. They now know what situation they're in because all of these teams are looking down at them. They don't really have the space to move up, but they need to, because this round is going to hurt. And now it is closing and they need to make a decision on where they want to go. They don't really have much room, but they need to make space so they can get inside the circle and survive for placement. And we do see active fights going on. Still 6 spots left. Oh, and it's down to 5 now. Panic choosing to tank the lava damage and is now trying to find an opening for his team. But they are getting actively fired at. This is one of those situations where you can't really win either direction you go. And we do see Sab getting taken down. So now it is going to be a 2v3 fight for Brotherhood here. Ender getting absolutely shredded. They are not sticking together. Panic is a little bit too far to help him. Ender does get down, and now Team TikTok is just looking at everyone who is trying to move into the circle. Yes, and there goes Ender, and Panic gets eliminated as well. So that is it for Team Brotherhood, who is doing so well. Top 4 squads now. Black Hat Esports. They did lose out on their Wraith player. The bubble does come down a little bit too late, but they did try. But the Wraith player did peek out a little bit too much, so she got punished for that. Now, Team TikTok still surviving, doing just fine underneath. They do need to secure some KP because now it is 4 squads left. And even with their placement points, they do need to secure some more KP because Semorg has 5 KP and they're going to be getting even more. So we do know that they need to secure extra KP and they are finding some ways to open up the lobby here. Semorg is in a pretty good location, but this circle is going to close and there are 4 squads left and it's going to be a madhouse. I think we're going to be seeing TikTok move last because they don't have to push out just yet and all these teams on the outside have to fight each other first. So Racing Club trying to see where he can drop his ultimate here. And he does get it, but ooh, Crim trying to go underneath. They do know that there is a team in the center now. They have moved. They got the rotation in. They're looking okay. They know that there's a team above as well, above and below, so they are being actively aware. Now, they do have the Spitfire and they do have the Spitfire, so they should be able to help them in close range. But Team TikTok doing okay, not having to push out just yet. They know they only have to watch one door now, but this also makes it so that if they push out, they have to funnel through one door, and this is going to be where they get focus fired if they are not careful. So they need to bide their time. They are in a good position. They could potentially win this. Still 4 squads left here. Oh, Team TikTok getting bullied with the nades here, getting naded out. Now they have to be careful about how they move. They don't want to get focus fired here. They're waiting till last minute, taking a little bit of storm damage, but they were able to move out. They have the Gibraltar bubble down. They're getting naded out. Now they have to be careful about how they move. They don't want to get focus fired here. They're waiting till last minute, taking a little bit of storm damage, but they were able to move out. They have the Gibraltar bubble down. Ooh, Semorg Mirana just shredding with the R301 and nice as well with the crossfire. And we see Sky getting a little bit too aggressive there, having to come back, but they are securing kills here. They are just absolutely lasering the enemy teams. 4 squads, 3 squads left now. The Gibraltar bubble does come down, trying to bide their time as this ultimate drops, and they are going to have to wait for an opportunity to fight the rest of their teams. They know where everyone is. They're going to be able to get that last kill, and they're going to win game number 3. That is Semorg biding their time, making sure that they were able to be in the best position possible, and they were looking pretty confident, taking every single fight that they could, and they won all of their fights. So of course they were feeling confident going into the final circle. They felt great, and honestly, the Gibraltar plays were huge there. They were able to help each other out and make sure that they were able to provide cover, and again, secured so much KP. I would not be surprised if this was a 100+ game for Semorg. And again, yesterday we saw them being able to take the high ground, knowing positioning, and being very keen on when to rotate. So we're going to look and see if our scoreboard is ready. We're going to see where Semorg ended up after that. And they actually ended up taking first place. They are in first place with 180 points, knocking only Flans down to second place with 165. Now, BRZ is close behind with only 20 points behind at 141 in third place. TikTok is in fourth with 135, and Brotherhood is in fifth with 116. And Black Hat is only behind in 1 point. So this is going to be a very close game for fifth and fourth place. But OnlyFans has a chance to make it back. They were playing pretty well. They got 30 points again, but it seems like they have been consistently getting 30 points the last 2 games. Semorg was able to show up and do incredible damage and get so many kills, which really boosted their win. So they definitely have to bring this back out. But again, we're going to be going into Storm Point the next 2 games. So we're going to be seeing how exactly they do against that. We did see Brotherhood doing a little bit better on Storm Point, so we're going to be seeing how all these teams adjust to these map changes. But we are going to be going into game number 4 on Storm Point soon. We're going to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Can I follow you back to your arms? Wash it all off in the river of your heart. There's a million different songs that I learned to sing. Watching you bloom in the light of the moon. Your loneliness will never be lost on me. So reach out and reach out. Don't be a stranger.
Gotta find my way to you. No matter what I do, gotta find my way to you. Your heart is drifting out of reach. Gotta find my way to you. No matter what I do, gotta find my way to you. Even though you're next to me. Gotta find my way to you. No matter what I do, gotta find my way to you. Your heart is drifting out of reach. Gotta find my way to you. No matter what I do, gotta find my way to you. Now that our love has capsized. Has capsized. Gotta find my way to you. Has capsized. Gotta find my way to you. No matter what I do, gotta find my way to you. Your heart is drifting out of reach. Gotta find my way to you. No matter what I do, gotta find my way to you. Even though you're next to me. Gotta find my way to you. No matter what I do, gotta find my way to you. Your heart is drifting out of reach. Gotta find my way to you. No matter what I do, gotta find my way to you. Even though you're next to me. Gotta find my way to you. No matter what I do, gotta find my way to you. Your heart is drifting out of reach. Gotta find my way to you. No matter what I do, gotta find my way to you. Now that our love has capsized. Has capsized. Gotta find my way to you. Has capsized. Gotta find my way to you.
Try to let go of all of the nonsense that you put me through. I give it all to you. I do it all for you. Maybe this feeling's overdue. You're uninvited. You wanna hold me close, but I know what you have to. Yeah. Why are you?
All right, welcome back. Now remember, for game number 4 that we're going to be getting into pretty soon, it is going to be on Storm Point. So some of these teams are going to have to figure out how everyone else wants to play, where they want to drop again. So it's going to be some contention upon drop, but this is a huge map. So we're going to be seeing a lot of players and teams getting spread out. We don't know where exactly they prefer for loot, but we're going to be seeing that as they drop. We are getting game number 4 ready for you. We are waiting for all the teams to load in. And there's a little bit of a difference that goes into changing maps and everything, so bear with us. So let's go ahead and take a look at the placement. Again, that has been happening. Let's go ahead and look at the last scoreboard from game number 3. We did see SemOrg take first place with 180 points. So this was a huge game for them to pull themselves all the way back up to the top. OnlyFlans is in second place with an easily winnable first place because they are at 165. So again, I've been pointing out that they've been getting about 30 points per match. And if they can up their game and get back to securing the 100-point games, they may be able to take first place back and put themselves up in a significant lead. I genuinely think they can do it. BRZ is not too far off from taking second place either. So BRZ has been doing really well, knowing when to rotate, taking their time with knowing which fights to take. TikTok has also been doing pretty well. They've been existing outside of the final circles for quite some time. They've been able to do really well on playing the edge of circle, making sure to push in and take their fights when they can. Brotherhood has been doing a lot better today than we saw yesterday. They are sitting at 116. They could easily take fourth place if they wanted to, or even third. So we're going to be seeing how all these teams play in Storm Point, because again, your gameplay style does change up. We do see Legends changing up. We did see the Caustic players switch out to movement players, because on Storm Point, because it is about 15% bigger than World's Edge, you do want to have that movement. You want to have the ability to rotate out from POI to POI because it is such a big map. Also, there is also elevation changes that you need to be thinking about in Storm Point. So we are going to be dropping into game number 4 here. And we're going to be taking a look at where all these teams want to drop. We are looking at a lot of teams going around to Shipfall and Gale Station from the last time that we saw. Surprisingly, a lot of players were choosing to not go into Barometer, which usually has some pretty good loot. So that was a surprising observation that I had from yesterday, where not many people wanted to go into Barometer, but that is usually a high point of contention in North America. But of course, because this is the South American lobbies, we do see a lot of different drops here. Now, Brotherhood did opt to go into the Prowler Den, which is an interesting choice for their drop zone. There is some pretty good loot, and the Prowlers do drop good attachments and things that you need, but that is an interesting call, because usually you are fighting the wildlife, and that can get out of hand very quickly. Now, we do see 2 teams already fighting, or already looting in the caves here, and they are going to probably fight. We do see a lot of teams separated, but yes, look, Scally is in an active fight now with the fired up Rampage and Alternator, trying to find where this team went. Ooh, connecting a few shots, not enough to really push, but his team is pushing up with him, making sure to get him covered. They are pushing out this team. This team may end up just rotating out if they're not wanting to take this fight, because again, the loot here is pretty okay, but honestly, if you're not grabbing everything from every single building, you're not going to be doing too well here. Now, we do see Ariel on Loba, which is great for Storm Point. Ooh, connecting these EVA 8 shots. Oh, but unable to defend against Gibraltar, does go down. Now it is a 2v3 here. Mangonito not doing too well either, taking a little bit too much damage. Semorg, it is actually Semorg that they're going up against. And ooh, Miranda just nailing these mastiff shots. Oh, missing a few more though, does go down. Now it is a 2v2, and Sem is trying to get their bearings down again, trying to track down this last few players, trying to make sure that they can get this KP. Ooh, nails the horizon with the alternator shots. Nice, trying to get some time to heal up. And Sky kind of in a standoff here. They do break the door. They are going to be able to secure this last kill, and they are going to be able to fully reset and get Miranda back up. And they already have purple shields. Now, Racing Club is running around on the outside, using whatever they can to get more resources, including killing this flyer here. Now, they are going to be hearing these shots because they were fighting for quite some time. So Racing Club may be rotating around to the caves if they want to. Black Cat existing on the northern part of the map here, and it looks like they are all aware of where the circle will be pulling. La Scalinetta also doing okay on looting. PNP looking good with their shields as well. Now, they are going to be looking at trying to take some of these loot areas, and it looks like they are pinging someone, so they do want to take this fight. They want to get some extra KP starting off, because again, once you secure KP, you can kind of play for placement here, especially with how aggressive these lobbies are. You want to be getting some KP, especially if you are actually trying to play for points and getting placement points as well. So they're going to be moving in. I think they do see an enemy team here. They are Ashe ulting on top, trying to get that high ground, making sure to take any sort of advantage that they can over this team, because they are actively looking for them. They have no idea where they are quite yet. They just know that there's a general direction. Oh, and they did find sights. PNP in a fight now, funneling this enemy team out. Ooh, doing enough damage against the Gibraltar to really make them hurt. They are going to have to use their bubble a little bit early, so now they're going to be pushing in. Frankie still has his bubble if he wants to use that, so making sure that the enemy team's Gibraltar uses his Q before they can is a great call. Absolutely shredding. And Bill actually took out Crawley with the alternator here, and they are going to secure that kill. They are looking to push the other team, but they have no idea where they are quite yet. But they now know that it is a 3v2, and it is entirely winnable. Shredding with the alternator. And FNX just absolutely coming in with the rockets that are entirely on point. And Bill working this Gibraltar downs PID. And they are going to be looking for the final kill here. They are securing their TP as they go, so they do have shield swaps. And it looks like there is another team that is actually firing down at them. And it is Team AVC coming in to clean up this mess that was started. And they are absolutely bullying them. Look at this. They're trying to get the res. They're trying to get some heals off as much as they can, but they're not able to. And they're getting absolutely beamed. And the Ashe does not have her ultimate yet. She just used it. So now AVC is going to get some free kills, and they are actively looking. But there is another team coming in. AVC having to defend themselves against other teams as well that heard all of this noise. This is a high loot area, so AVC having to fight against this, especially with the rotations being as they are, I'm sure they're going to have to fight against more teams, so they know that they have to be careful about how much noise that they're making. They did down Gui and Treffy, so they're doing all right. They are able to actively hold against this third party that was supposed to happen. PNP trying to get away. And it was actually Team Horus that was also trying to third party as well. But, you know, they are all disengaging. They're trying to get into the circle. They do see that circle is going to be closing. So they don't have a lot of time. PNP is going to be able to get the res off, and they are going to be all right. Horus is still down to just one player, so they'll be struggling for quite some time because it is just round 1 closing, and there are 15 squads left. And we see a blue in a fight as well, just outside of Barometer. Ooh, a blue downing their enemy team here. But it is down to 1, and they are playing their shields. It's going to be 1v1 with Spetsnaz here, and they are very low on health. If Spetsnaz can win this, it may be incredible, but it was not enough, and it was a blue that actually wins the 1v1. Fix was just way healthier and was better fit for that 1v1 challenge. A blue is going to be able to get that KP, and they're sitting at 14 squads left. Now, just as a reminder, I keep saying this, but it is not until 10th place that you start getting placement points, and even then it's only 1. So we're going to be looking at Brotherhood that wants to get some of their points back because they are sitting in 5th place, and they could easily take it up to 3rd if they wanted to, if they play this right. So Ender trying to find where all the enemy teams are. They know there's one that's existing right next to them, and they know that there is another team across the way, and this is a lot of teams existing in 2 different buildings. And there's actually one team that is playing the outskirts, and they know that if they rotate out, they're going to be easily caught out because there are 2 teams looking down at that one location. Right, and Team TikTok trying to find a way into the circle, finding themselves in a circle, but wanting to take this building, and they know that they're up against a full team. Only Flans is actually one of the other members that is holding out against Fish Farm here. Gale Station, they are actively fighting there, and there are 2 fights happening right now. 14 squads left. Ooh! The nasty Mastiff shot from Moretta here, and the R301 beams, not even giving their team a chance, takes out Boss's team. Oh my goodness, that was just incredibly mean. That was bullying if I've ever seen that. But OnlyFlans is also still in this fight. They are trying to figure out where the enemy team is, pushing and poking whenever they can. They want to take this KP, and this is going to be OnlyFlans versus Brotherhood. And I don't know who to root for here because I do want Brotherhood to get back some of their points. But OnlyFlans is proving to be the most aggressive team, and they know that they can push this and they can win because they are actively holding out on all angles. Brotherhood is struggling a little bit to find out which angle they need to play, how they need to play this, because they are a little bit separated, and they know that they're being actively poked from all sides. Sab pushing out. Ooh, getting aggressive here against the Ashe. Oh, does down a member of OnlyFlans, and now OnlyFlans has no choice but to fight, and the Gibraltar is going to go down. ULW also in a fight for their lives here at the location where they already had a fight. Faria barely gets away with the Wraith Q. Does have to fully heal. ULW is at a slight disadvantage here with low health. They are actually trying to finish this fight, trying to get some KP, but they're not able to fully finish here. All right, and Flavim trying his best to hold off with the R301, but does have to full heal. Faria looking good with health, having re-shielded. Flavim did not have time to heal. Oh, but does help with the downs. Is this going to be enough? He is the only one left. Oh, and it was not. TikTok was able to win that fight, and they are the kill leaders with 3 kills. And they do have the gold back with Gibraltar, so they're going to be able to fully reset and get this back on track. Now, there are 11 squads left. There have been so many fights happening on this map. I just want to point out, and there are still fights happening. Now, it's 10 squads left. So Brotherhood has made it to the point where you start making extra placement points for placing 10th place and above. Now Team Dust trying to come in and third. I mean, this is like a fifth party on Brotherhood. Brotherhood just struggling, trying to find some time to breathe, but they're looking good on resources. They're going to be okay on health. Panic does have to fully heal. This might be the game where Brotherhood makes it back because they are actively looking at defending this building and they have been able to hold their ground and push together. Now they're doing a great job of that, but they do need to be careful about how many teams are looking at Gale Station because it is one of those rotation points and they are actively getting held out here. And Team Dust trying to find an opening and trying to figure out how they need to push, where they need to go. Oh, but Brotherhood had the upper hand. They were able to rotate around and keep them distracted, and now they're fighting on the rooftops. Ooh, Saab getting these massive shots, downs their Gibby. And now it's down to if he can down the Valkyrie, and he did. But now it's down to one last player, and Brotherhood is going to chase them down and make sure they don't have a chance to live, because this is going to be a huge kill game for them if they are able to secure this. And looks like Ender did end up taking out Mr. Path, and that is their full squad wipe. BRZ also existing in that same POI, making sure to keep an eye out on other teams that might be rotating in. All right, Scalinetta doing all right. I don't think they have too many kills, though. No, they don't have any kills. They are playing for placement right now and maybe end game kills, which is a little bit risky because the further you go into end game, you know the tankier your enemies are going to get and the more prepared they're going to be. So they're going to be trying to rotate in. They did hear all of that fighting at Gale Station, and they know that there is another team looking down at Chipball. Ooh, absolutely nailing these G7 squads. G7 shots and trying to get that KP there, but they might be making a little bit too much noise. They do need to watch their backs. There is a rotation point, and it looks like Racing Club is fighting for their lives against spiders. Not my favorite thing, but you know, they do need those attachments, so that is what they're going for. And Krim just beating with the R301. Ooh, breaking shields, trying to take down this enemy that is trying to push his teammate, who obviously needs materials, so they are able to hold down the fort. And TikTok in a fight, again, it's a 2v2, but they do get that win there, and they're going to be able to reset again. TikTok doing really well this round. They have a combined amount of, they have 9 KP for their team. This is looking really good for them. Team TikTok maybe getting back up on top here. We're going to be seeing, I'm going to be excited to see how the scoreboard lines up after this, because a lot of teams that I didn't expect to be showing up have been showing up this match. And again, this is what we see with the map change, because Stormpoint may be a little bit better for other team compositions and other team synergies. So we may be seeing a change in pace for a lot of these teams here. BRZ kind of out in the open, using a few rocks as cover. Just Better does only have white shields, which is not fantastic. Rhynex trying to connect any of these arc stars here, but being a little bit careful, has to back off and go back to the building. BRZ is holding down the fort all right. Racing Club does need to find a way back in. They decide to use their Gibraltar Q to dome and give them a little bit of cover as they use Valkyrie's ultimate, but this is going to make them an open target, and again, they may be getting punished for using this so late game. Now, I know I say late game, but we are in round 3 with 8 squads left, so it feels like late game. They're going to be doing the long rotate around, but they do know that there is another team waiting for them in those buildings just ahead, so they may need to exist outside the circle for just a little bit. Brotherhood pushing in, feeling confident, feeling really good about how they've been playing, about how they've been holding down their fort, pushing up. Sab, knowing that he can get in and out of fights really quickly, is pushing up. Ooh, does 98 damage to his enemy, and they are going to be pushing in together. Ooh, Brotherhood just shredding with the R301, a massive combo. Being incredibly difficult to handle here. Sab coming in with the damage, but does get down. Now it is going to be a 2v2. Sab gets completely eliminated. Can Brotherhood win this? It's now a 1v1 here. And they do secure the kills, but they do need to reset. They did lose Sab, so they need to find a way to get him back in the action if they want to be able to survive again. So they might have a res point. They might have a mobile res if they can make that. But this is going to be one of those situations where they need to outweigh whether or not they want to stay as a 2-man squad or rescue their teammate that was eliminated. BRZ still existing on the outside, looking at all these teams that are in shipfall, trying to see if they are going to move in. They are on the edge, so they don't need to quite move out. Now BRZ is pushing up. Just Better is pushing up a little bit too much. But he is a Wraith player, so he may be doing okay, but he does get his shields cracked, so he does need to be careful about how much he is spending on resources here. Alright, and it's actually Team AVC that is being held out. AVC is trying to find a way to go in. They can stay in this building if they want to, but they know that they're just going to get focus fired if they do stay here. So they are trying to find an opening where they can move out and find better cover. But BRZ is not going to let that happen. BRZ is just going to keep on looking at them. And with this Longbow Mastiff combo, they're going to have long range and short range together. AVC trying again to find any connection that they can to get out of this area, but they may be struggling and staying here for quite some time. Round number 3 is going to be closing in just 20 seconds, and there are 6 squads left. Right, it looks like BRZ is still bullying them too, making sure that they keep the high ground. They don't have to move, so they can stay there as long as they want. They are actively looking around, knowing that this is a major choke point where teams will want to be rotating. AVC is probably just going to have to live in that building. Now, AVC does notice another team moving up, so they're going to be careful about how they move because they are in the most vulnerable position. Their building is not the safest because they can get actively shot at by 2 different sides and they can be easily pushed. But BRZ also noticed the other team that did push up, and Just Better is going to get a little bit aggressive and scout ahead, try to see where the teams are, see if he can do some damage because he looks like he's hungry for more kills, and that is exactly what he's going to be doing. But he's also opening up a rotation point for his team here. Ooh, but he does note that there is someone right on top of Gale Station, so he's going to have to fully back off and heal before his team can push in. Now they do need to make an opening for themselves to be able to move in because they can't go through the back part of this map anymore. They have to funnel through that one central area. So they do have the Wraith Portal, which will help them a lot, but they do have to face up against Team TikTok, who has been doing incredibly well this match, and they are going to be struggling a little bit here. I want to point out that Moretta's damage is 1, 2, 3, 0. We need to get that to 1, 2, 3, 4, please. But he does have 3 kills and 6 assists. So you know that Team TikTok is doing pretty well right now on points. So now they're just playing for placements. 6 squads left. AVC is choosing to use the Valkyrie ultimate, but this may end up getting them eliminated because there are a lot of teams that are going to be focus firing them, and they are making themselves an open target, and there is not going to be much space for them to move into. They are trying to occupy a building, but all of these buildings have already been taken, so they're going to have to choose very carefully how they land here and how they fight for a spot. AVC does end up moving in. Oh, but they do have to fight. They're unable to connect these shots. It's down to a 2v3. Oh, and Vango has to get out. I don't know if he can escape. He did use his Wraith Q, but it is Semorg that is holding on the fort in this building still. Oh, and Miranha did get rid of Vango, so that is the end of that team. They did get punished indeed for using that Valkyrie ultimate. You cannot be using Valkyrie that late in game, especially with round 4 closing, especially with 5 squads left. You cannot be doing that. Alright, and Semorg is looking pretty healthy. Team TikTok doing okay, rotating between buildings, taking as much space as they can. They are going to be looking pretty healthy here as well, watching this choke point as the other teams have to funnel in. And this is where things get a little bit dicey. Scalinetta is down to 1 player and they get eliminated. And that was BRZ that pushed them. Now BRZ does have to reset. They do need to get this res if they're going to do it now, but they don't have a gold bag. So their Wraith player is going to be hurting for a little bit, but they are able to make an opening so they can rotate in whenever Team TikTok back in their building, fully healing, exchanging the gold helmet so they can get their ultimates back faster. And BRZ is actually looking okay right now. None of the other teams are looking at them. There are 4 squads left, so all the other teams are actively looking at each other. They are aware of BRZ being on top, so they are keeping an eye out on that, but they're not an immediate threat. TikTok is making sure that they are keeping an eye on all the team members that are inside these other buildings because they want to occupy that, and they want to be able to move out into the next circle, which is kind of an open area, and only the capsule is the next building that can provide cover. Right, and Semorg existing on the outside, on the edge of the circle, rotating around. They are trying to find a space to get into that next circle. It looks like Brotherhood has actually determined this location, this capsule, the only building that they can hold in this next circle as their own. So they are actively holding people out. Ooh, beautiful thermite where they're able to get some damage and deny entrance to this capsule. So they are going to be holding this down as long as they can, and they are keeping an eye out for other teams that may push in. Brotherhood solidly holding this down and knowing that they can get all of this damage down, and they are trying to get them. They're trying to eliminate all these team members that are trying to push in. Rhinex just being able to shred that Gibraltar player. BRZ is actually existing on top. They're the team trying to push in on the second floor, but they're not able to because Brotherhood is holding down the fort so strongly. Now they do have high ground. They are able to see anyone who tries to climb up or tries to move in, so they do have that advantage at least, but they are kind of struggling to get into the next area as well. They're trying to find better cover because if anyone chooses to look out, they may be in a little bit of trouble. All right, and round number 5 is finally closing. So this is where the final circle is going to be. Rhinex still trying to get some more damage. Oh, but getting hit with Valkyrie Qs everywhere. And they are going to have to determine which squad they want to fight, which one they want to push towards, especially with this last circle closing. They are going to have to leave this building pretty quickly. So they may end up having to fight Brotherhood, which is right beneath them. Oh, and No Click actually has the Kraber and Mastiff, so they might be able to do some really good damage if they are able to get any sights on these enemy teams that are surrounding them. I do see No Click trying to find some space here with the Kraber, but he's not able to spot anyone out just yet. So he is biding his time. We are going to see the circle, the final circle closing in 19 seconds. And they are all marking and communicating where the last few members of these last teams are. 4 squads left, and they are just waiting to see. And these are all full teams as well. Oh, they are getting Gibraltar ulted though, but they do have their shield, so they are able to use that. But that does not provide cover from beneath. So they have to be careful about enemy team players trying to push up after that. So they are going to be pushed off the top of this roof pretty soon. This is going to be one of those circles where it all boils down to who gets to watch the other teams fight first. But it looks like the Wraith on Brotherhood was able to push out. Semorg actively in a fight for their lives here too. Taking these Mastiff shots so accurately. Still 4 squads left. They're not quite able to eliminate anyone just yet. They are trying to secure their TP where they can, but they are getting shot at by everyone from each direction. Sky has to use his Q to get out, and I don't know if that's going to be enough for him to survive. Brotherhood is the winner out of that fight, but now they need to push out into their position, and they need to get some shield swaps and heals in, and they are down a player, so it's going to be a 2v3 if they have this down. It is 2 squads left. It is down to Brotherhood and BRZ is the champion. They bided their time. They're on top of the roof. They made sure to watch the other teams fight. Brotherhood may have pushed their luck a little bit too much by pushing out and trying to fight. But you know what? They did secure some KP. They did win against that team fight. They made it to top 2. So they secured placement and KP. So honestly, a job well done from Brotherhood. And BRZ is the champion again. We are going to see how exactly they stack up now because they were up pretty close. They were doing really well in points. They were doing a great job in staying consistent and playing together as a team. So I'm going to take a quick look at the leaderboard and see where exactly everyone is lining up yet. I don't know if we have the leaderboard ready yet, actually, but we are going to be taking a look and seeing how BRZ is looking now after that. So it looks like Semorg actually was doing pretty well. They were able to show up again. They have 240 points and they are sitting in first place. And BRZ is sitting in second quite easily with 221 points. Brotherhood is now third with 211. And TikTok is fourth with 195. And only Flans has been bumped down to fifth place with 180 points. This is a significant lead we see from Semorg down to fifth place. and with 180 to 240 points. Samorg did a great job. They were showing up. They were fighting for their lives, but unfortunately BRZ did take the win, so that extra 50 points came into play there. So BRZ could easily take first place if they wanted. And with the last game of the day happening in just a few moments after we take our break, this is going to be an interesting match because it is up for anyone. I mean, Brotherhood has been doing really well too, and they got up into third place, and that is usually where they should be sitting. So that makes me really happy to see. So we're going to see how exactly all these teams fight out for first, second, and third place in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we've got game number 5, the final game on Stormpoint, ready for you.
The people who stand out, the faceless crowd, lost and found, picking up on the speed of sound to faster ground, moving on. I can't hold back all the new progress, what I've done best, but how about now? Showing off all the things we missed, all your interests.
Blue, the feeling behind my eyes. You stood out 'cause you were in red. Then, against my intentions, I let you turn me violet instead. Summer high, met you in August. New York, back to my cold apartment. Distance sucks, but at least I'm still with you. White out skies, middle November. You and I, flights to wherever. I don't mind, as long as it's with you. As long as it's with you. At the festival that we met at, where you were just a face in a crowd, and now I can't imagine me with anybody else. As as we close out the night underneath the lilac sky. Summer high, met you in August. New York, back to my cold apartment. Distance sucks, but at least I'm still with you. White out skies, middle November. You and I, flights to wherever. I don't mind as long as it's with you. As long as it's with you. As long as it's with you. As long as it's with you.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the final game number 5 for day 2 of the South American qualifiers for Lenovo Masters. So again, the last game was kind of a mess at the end, but that was our first game on Storm Point. So let's go back and look at the scoreboard, just in case you guys missed it after 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and look, because BRZ had a huge win that put them in second place. Now, they are only 20 points off from taking first place. Now, SemOrg has also been playing out of their minds today. They are sitting at first place with 240 points. Brotherhood has also been doing really well. They can easily take second place. And I think, honestly, that lead from third to first place is not so big that Brotherhood cannot take first place. I genuinely believe that Brotherhood could do this, but it all depends on this last game, game number 5. Now, as a reminder, for all these qualifiers, 12 teams per region will be invited to the final. The top 4 teams of each qualifier today and yesterday will advance to the final in their region, and this will equal 20 teams total for the finals, which the finals happen next week on the 10th. So make sure to mark your calendars, look at the times, make sure to be here, especially if you're going to be a team that is checking in. It is going to be an hour later than when we've been doing it this weekend. So I'm very excited to see how these teams are going to do in the finals, because these teams have been playing out of their minds. And again, if any qualified team cannot play in the finals for whatever reason, the team with the next highest points will advance to the finals next weekend. I'm very excited to see how this match is going to go. It's going to be another game on Storm Point. So we are going to take a look at the scoring methods and how the formatting works here as a refresher as we go into our last game. Remember, there is 5 points per kill. So every kill counts, and we have been seeing SemOrg just decimating the lobby, which helps increase their scoring, which is why they have taken first place, even though they didn't win the last round. So even though you don't win, it's still important to get those kills, because you could potentially outscore the winning team of that lobby. So first place, you get an extra placement point of 50 points. Second, you get 30. Third, you get 20. And fourth, you get 15. Fifth, you get 10. So you want to be surviving at least into fifth place, because that is where you start getting more points in double digits. If you survive till 8 to 10, you get 1 point, but that is not going to be a lot, especially with these teams fragging out the way that they have been today. So if you are interested in seeing how these teams will play for next weekend, we are going to have 3 World's Edge matches, and then we're going to have 3 Storm Point matches, and it's going to be 6 games total for the finals. So that just means more Apex on the weekend, and more competitive Apex. So get ready for that. Now we are going to be dropping into our 5th and final game for tonight. Now here is an overview of the gorgeous Storm Point. It is a beautiful map, but it is so big you need to be able to have movement legends. And we have been seeing a lot of these teams shake up their roster and opting for Valkyries. But remember, using a Valkyrie late game, even third circle, second to third circle, you can get punished because a lot of these teams are already existing in the final circle areas. Now we do see a team trying to move into Barometer for once because it is a blue zone. One thing that I'm very happy about to see in the South American region is that players and teams are not afraid to go drop into blue zones. Most NA teams want to avoid that because that means that they're going to be early game fights. But again, South America is so aggressive and they are so confident, and that makes me incredibly happy to see. Now we do see Tharsis having an active fight. It looks like they did get landed on here, and they're getting contested. They are doing a little bit poorly on positioning here, but they do have the angles. They are able to support each other on their fire. But Treffy taking a little bit too much damage, and Gui has no more shields. And that is a Gibraltar pushing in. Oh, but they were able to drop Kunj's. Treffy getting the kill here, trying to hit these wingman shots, but opting for the EVA. 8 does get down. It's going to be a 1v1 here. And can AVC win this? AVC looks a little bit more healthy here. Oh, does land the PK shot, and they do win out on that fight. And AVC is rewarded 3 KP off the bat. Gorgeous fighting there. Vang did not take much damage there. He was looking strong all throughout that fight, and now they have this entire POI for themselves. So these early game drops are really important. Oh, but AVC is getting hit. There is going to be a third party, and it is FA coming in to try and clean up after this fight. Now they are hitting these wingman shots. Oh, and the disrespect with the charge rifle. Salavera, please. They are going to secure that KP because they know that they are going to be down a player. So they got the shield swap. They are trying to get some cover here. Madsen reloading, try to get back under cover. AVC struggling. It's going to be a 2v2 now. Now they have evened out the odds. So they need to figure out if they want to push or if they want to disengage, because they are going to be down a player if they are not able to get the banner. So if they want to get the banner, they're going to have to push FA. Now, Salavera does have the long range and close range, so he's going to be keeping an eye out for his team. And Dust also in a fight here, starting early. All of these teams fighting. 18 squads left. Now, we do see... Oh my goodness, as a Maggie main, I'm so happy to see Maggie being played here. They are getting chased, so they are going to try to disengage, but it is not enough. Racing Club does come out, just speeding towards them, trying to get that last KP, and they do secure the kill on Dust, but Racing is also getting third-partied by TikTok. TikTok coming in to finish up the kill, and they do, and they're also rewarded a full team wipe. This is such a mess. 16 squads left, and it's only first circle. Oh my goodness, this is what I love about watching South America. There is absolutely no breathing time. You need to be constantly aware of your surroundings, especially on Stormpoint. Now, Stormpoint has this weird thing of being the biggest map, but also having the biggest choke points in specific POIs. Now, what those POIs are, I cannot tell you because it changes per circle change. So every time a new circle is introduced to Stormpoint, there are always new choke points where players are constantly getting 4th, 5th, and 6th partied in one particular building or location. And it's one of those problems that Stormpoint has, and it has to iron out. It is the first iteration of the map, and it's not exactly the most balanced for competitive play. But we do see South America making the best of it, and it honestly fits their playstyle so much because they are able to get so aggressive. Now TikTok is moving into the Prowler Den, just trying to see if they can get any extra loot. If Brotherhood did land here, which was their previous preferred landing zone, TikTok may be finding themselves in a fight here. But Brotherhood did choose to land here before, so they may still be around, or they may have rotated out early. Another thing that I notice is that in South America, players are not afraid to change up where they drop, and it looks like Brotherhood was actually on the other side. They already rotated out, and they are going to be going for another full rotation out of this POI. So they did rotate out of Prowler Den, and they are going to be finding a new POI to go to because they do have the scan information on where the next circle is going to be. So they are going in earlier, and this is something that they've been doing such a great job of. They have been doing a fantastic job of being aware of circle closures and making sure to scan and use their Valkyrie as intended, and making sure that they know where they need to be at, and they get a free purple shield swap as well. Now all of this loot is theirs. They get to establish this area as their own, and Oh, it looks like Panic is actually opting for the Charge Rifle Peacekeeper combination. And they do know that there is another team that is living here, and they are going to try to contest and hold this ground because this is where the next circle is going to be, and they want to hold it. But they don't know that Team Feed is above watching them, trying to make sure that they can punish them for peeking out a little bit too much. Now Feed looking down, they do have Godspot, they do have the best spot for overlooking teams, but they can also get easily shot at, so they need to be careful. They do have the Rampage and Peacekeeper on CC, on their Gibraltar, so that is the range that they have. Now, if I remember correctly, Quillen may be pushing it a little bit too far up to try to scout out later, but we'll see if he chooses that. They are able to look at all the other teams surrounding them and trying to get some extra damage, but not able to connect here with the R301. Now it looks like Quillen is actually opting to stay close and not scout out because they do have this high ground, so they're able to see all the other teams. Looks like a lot of teams are already surrounding this area, trying to establish late game dominance. 16 squads left, and round 1 hasn't even finished closing. I think these teams are going to be solidly where they are. I don't think they need to be contesting each other, so they are just going to be poking at each other, trying to get extra shield damage, build up their shields, because they know going late game, they're not going to be getting a lot of action here. Because again, the first team to push out and fight each other, that team is going to lose out on that fight, because that is going to be an easy third party for any of these 5 teams existing in this area. All right, now Feed just holding their higher ground, making sure to keep an eye out on all of their enemies that are surrounding them. Ooh. Maybe using a grenade, but they do know that there are lots of teams around them, so they might be trying to save some resources. Not too many shots left on the Rampage because it does eat up a lot of bullets. So they're going to be playing a little bit more reserved, doing damage whenever they can. They do want to upgrade their Evo shields. Now, PNP is stuck outside. They do have 2 players, so they are down 2. And they're going to be going through the Prowler Den, where we did see TikTok go through earlier. Now, if TikTok is still here, I would be very surprised. But if they are, it would be for a good fight. ULW is also down another member. And it looks like they're actually going through the connector into Prowler Den, if I saw that location correctly. So PNP is going to be actively looking out. They are in the circle, so they're okay. They're just making sure that no one else is in the area. Look at these quick turns. They're so paranoid that someone's going to come out. And you know what? That's what happens in Stormpoint. You can easily get rotated on so quickly, and you know exactly where they're going to be coming from, but you can't exactly defend yourself from every direction. So they're going to be careful. They're going to take this slowly because they are a 2-man squad, and they are going to be at a disadvantage. Now with 16 squads left, they do have 1 KP. I'm not sure if they have more, but Bill at least has 1 KP, so they're going to be looking around to secure more kills if possible. And it looks like Kunja's team is going to be looking at MRG's team as well over here, trying to get some extra damage off, get some kills, and it looks like a dropship is coming in, so someone's getting rezzed. Now Pepe, they actually did choose to pull out the Revenant play. Again, if you remember yesterday, they were also doing that play, where we saw a Revenant in use in competitive Apex, something that we don't really see too often. And we do see FA trying to get any extra damage off here with the Wingman long range, but not really able to connect too much. Madsen trying to get a better angle, but they may opt to rotate out of that area. Now Pepe has they do have the Revenant, Loba, and Bloodhound combination, so lots of loot. And the Loba will be good for getting ultimate accelerants for Bloodhound and Revenant, and they're going to be rotating into Prowler Den as well, where we saw several teams rotating through. So again, we may be seeing a fight here. So Stormpoint, because it is such a big map, often if you do not have mobile legends, you are going to have to rotate through the same points. Now Scally, they are outside of Prowler Den, and they could overlook all of the teams rotating out of Prowler Den. So they are going to be trying to take these buildings, seeing if anyone else is around. Maybe they want to keep this set. And PNP is actually the team that is rotating out. They were able to get out, and they are going to be moving as far as they can. They are trying to get into the next circle. And BRZ, ooh, trying to hold out this team. This Valkyrie, oh, who was so close to dying. Oh, and does get pulled out of her ultimate. Oh, Black Hat is not in a good space. They are going to have to immediately fight, and it's all down to H4, but he is going to get caught out and unfortunately gets eliminated. BRZ absolutely decimating this team here. That was the worst thing to do there. Now, that is a Valkyrie ultimate that should have been better placed or weighted, because BRZ was just waiting, and they absolutely beamed them out of the sky, and they just dropped out of the sky like stones. Now, BRZ is getting held out here, though. They are still within circle, so they're not going to be too far ahead, but they do want to push underneath, and that bridge will provide them some sort of cover, but coming out from under that is going to be a pain. Now, BRZ is looking at where they can go and try to set up, because they know that most of the buildings here have been taken. So they are taking their time to move in. ULW also looking like they're in a fight here. Ooh, with the Peacekeeper shots that are dropping, and we see Faria on Octane, who we have not seen in South America in 2 days. ULW, it is a 1v1, and they do get that, but oh, they actually just got eliminated. And Spetsnaz was the winner, but now they are actively fighting another third party here. And Stali, they were gatekeeping outside of Prowler Den, but they are getting punished for it too. It's down to Ariel and TikTok coming in to clean up. TikTok is looking pretty good here, able to come in and just clean up house, and they are now holding one of their kill leaders on their team. They were able to get a full 3, so that is good for their KP, and now there are 12 squads left, so not quite placement point squads, not quite placement place yet, but they are working their way up towards that. They got KP. As long as they do play for circle, they should be okay. They are in the next circle, but they do need to anticipate where the next one is going to be. They do have a scan legend, but there are no scans that you can do around here, and it looks like they are actually going to be going for this care package. I wonder if it's going to be a Kraber. We have seen so many Krabers in these matches today. It is unbelievable. All right, and we now see okay trying to push up and take this care package, but again, remember, in Barometer, there were a lot of teams that were looking up and looking down at them. Now, it was a Spitfire, and they did switch out for that weapon, so they're going to be looking, okay, they have a care package weapon, and the Spitfire still shreds, especially since it was still buffed as a drop weapon. So,
let's explore this way.
okay, is just scouting ahead. They do need to move forward into that next circle, so they are going to be looking to scoot up very closely and quietly if they can. Right, and Team TikTok moving in as close as they can, using every bit of cover. And you can see that all the teams that have been here since circle number 1 are existing here and staying here in the same positions. So we did also see BRZ having to move up. BRZ has not made their way into Barometer just yet, but they're going to be trying to get in as much as they can, but they are going to be overlooked by all of these squads. So it's going to be a very risky play, and it's going to be pretty anxiety driven if they're going to be able to get in. Spetsnaz caught outside the circle. They do have to rotate in, but they are taking a little bit too much damage. It seems like they were in a fight, and now they are going to be going out, and they're doing a long rotation. So they're going to have to keep on healing, and the storm damage does start to tick quite a bit here. So they're going to be using a lot of resources just trying to get this long rotation in. This may end up going poorly for them, because this does mean that if they do end up coming across anyone who is gatekeeping this circle, they can get some extra damage off on them because they already have shield, or they already have storm damage. And looks like PNP is also trying to get into another location, but they know that everywhere else in Barometer has been taken, so they're taking this small space above the middle, and they are going to try to exist here. This is not a good position. This is not where you want to be in. Feed is trying to just get as much damage as possible, potentially get it down here, knowing that it's just a 2-man squad and that they're existing in this tiny little elevator. Now they are going to keep bullying them out of that location. But everyone here is pretty much okay. No one has to push each other again. And it is 12 squads left at round number 3. So no one really has to push just yet. There is no real need for anyone to overextend. So they are all existing. And OnlyFlans is still alive. OnlyFlans is doing all right. They're trying to get their points back. They are... Ooh. Brotherhood is gatekeeping other teams in the area. AVC down to 2 players trying to Valk ult into the new area in Barometer, but there isn't a lot of places. There aren't a lot of places to go. So you do see them struggling to pick a location on where they can hold out, but they are trying, and they have to opt for this little rock just outside of any major buildings. Now this could be their demise. They don't have a lot of cover. They don't have a lot of room to go anywhere, especially with so many teams looking at them. They may be done here. Kunjus is the last one, and he does get shredded, and he gets eliminated. And that was Team TikTok coming in to clean up the last 2 members. Now we do see PNP holding up strong on top. They are able to get a lot of views here, but not enough damage to push off on these fights and establish this area as their own. 10 squads left and 9 squads left. So now everyone can place 2. If anyone places in 9th place, they do get 2 extra points. Scalinetta, still alive, but having to exist underneath. They really can't stay there for too long either. Fourth circle will be closing, and they will have to be moving out of that location. PRV getting a little bit too much damage, dropping down, and this is Team Horus that has taken the middle. Now PRV does have to full heal. They did opt to move off the top because PNP was also up on top, holding down that fort. So Horus needs to be careful. They are going to run into this rat here though, and oh, yep, there it is. They fought the rat, but they're not quite sure if that's a full team or not, so they're going to be careful. They don't have an immediate scan legend to tell them if that's a full team or not, so they're going to play carefully. Team TikTok doing okay, pinging their next location for where they want to rotate into, but they see that another squad has told them if that's a full team or not, so they're going to play carefully. Team TikTok doing okay, pinging their next location for where they want to rotate into, but they see that another squad has already beat them to it, and they Valk ulted. Oh, but they did get some good damage, but it's not enough to knock them out of the sky or to push off of. So they may be looking into how they can get their way in that specific spot or change up where they want to go. Now, the problem is that they want to take a building, but there are very scarce buildings now that they can take in the next circle. They know there's a full team beneath them, and they can gatekeep them, but they also need to get inside the circle themselves. So they're only going to hurt themselves if they choose to take that route. They are going to go underneath now and try to find an opening here. Moretta with the Spitfire trying to keep an eye out. Now Scalinetta, it's only down to 1 person, Terode, but they don't know that. They think that it's a full team. So they're playing very cautiously. A lot of these teams have pulled up. Oh, Brotherhood, has pushed up actually, and they are in the circle, and they are doing just fine here. They found their point and they have established it. Horus trying to get as much damage off as possible here, and they are exchanging some damage. Ooh, Pid on the blue shield though in round 5 is going to be a problem. Looks like Horus is doing fine. They're going to do some close range battle. Bubble fights here. Can they win this? Pid also having to defend against Brotherhood, who are trying to get into the circle. Oh, PRV is hurting. He has 10 health and he's actively getting shot at. He may be getting eliminated here. Alright, and we do see Horus. PRV was eliminated, unfortunately. Crawley is trying to heal, but he may be getting taken out. And Semorg, our current #1 team on the leaderboard, they are still alive and they are still holding down the fort. It doesn't seem like they have any KP though, which is highly unlikely, or highly unlike them as a team. But they are trying to push now. They are trying to get some late game KP here. Ooh, absolutely shredding with the car SMG. Getting some extra damage, but not quite enough to push just yet. Just trying to lay down the law on where they exist. They do need to move up a little bit in the next circle, and that's going to be round 5 closing in 23 seconds, but they don't have to move up too much. But a lot of teams, 8 squads, have already moved up, and they have already established where they're going to be. So it's any location they decide to go to is going to be a fight. Semorg taking out Crawley's team. And now it's 7 squads left, and they are able to take their spot, but they do need to keep moving up, unfortunately. They cannot stay here with all this loot. Semorg again taking the top high ground, but they do need to move off of that roof at some point. They need to be careful. And they are fighting up against Onlyflans, who is currently rotating around and existing on the bottom of the map here. Now, this could be good or bad. This is usually not one of those positions that you want to be in because you can easily get shot down at. But because it is so close to where all the other... But because it's right up against where the building is, most players will not be looking down. So this might be a good place for them for now. But again, this is incredibly hectic with 6 squads left and the final ring closing. All right, we do see Semorg in another fight here trying to bide their time with the bubble fight. They do have to pull out Nice's bubble as well. So now they have to exchange that bubble, and they are missing a person in a fight. Semorg trying to get this last person so they can get the KP, but they did let them go, so now they're just securing their KP. Oh, there he is trying to get this fight. It's another team pulling in. They need to disengage and re-heal because they are hurting, and this is not going to go well for them. Semorg down to 1 player, and it's actually Team TikTok that was only a 2-man team coming in to clean up. TikTok trying to see if they can get their respawn done on their team member as well because there's so much loot here. I have not seen such a late game res in South America, and this might help them win here. TikTok has been doing a great job. They have 7 KP, and OK has 6 kills and is kill leader, and they are doing pretty well this round. They showed up. They are establishing where they want to be, and they were able to get their teammate rezzed and fully equipped. So this could be their game if they play everything correctly. Oh, OK taking a little bit too much damage, having to re-heal, coming back, using those resources to heal, especially towards late game, is going to be detrimental. Onlyflans still doing okay, existing outside. They are getting some damage. They are completely shielded from all of these Gibraltar ultimates. They did get scanned, so now other teams are aware of where they are. Team TikTok fully restocked now with their full team. They are going to take this Wraith portal that was perfectly placed and give themselves some more cover, and they were able to rotate out of that precarious situation. That was a gorgeous portal, and that was such great thinking on their part. But now TikTok is living where Brotherhood was before, and they need to be careful. The final circle is closing, and there are still 4 squads left. Semorg is still alive, but they have 2 members up, and it's going to be a 2v3, so they need to be careful about which fights they take. They are getting cross-shot. Nice not having a shield anymore, but is full sending to support his teammate here and does get down. It's down to Mirana, and they do get eliminated. It's down to 3 squads now, and Onlyflans was the victor of that fight. They did get some late game KP, and BRZ is looking down at all these teams here. They know that there are other teams waiting for them down here, and they don't want to take this fight without knowing where they are, without getting some extra damage first, but they do have to drop first, and they are down to 2 members, so it's going to be a 2v3. BRZ fighting for their lives, getting 2 knocks, but not able to secure those KP yet. Oh, and they are trying so hard, but they can't do anything against the Spitfire, and Team TikTok moves in to try and secure their kills, and TikTok is the champion for the last game of your South America region qualifiers. And I told you, I called it after seeing how they were well positioned and how they were able to use their Wraith to get out of that precarious situation. TikTok was doing a fantastic job of working together as a team and being able to coordinate where they wanted to go with their Wraith portals. Incredibly well timed, incredibly well done. Now, I'm curious though. They had such a good game. I don't know where they're going to be landing at. They were one of the top few squads, so we're going to take a look at scores in just a moment. But BRZ also showed up. They were doing a great job. All of these teams, because it was the last game, they all fought for their lives. They were incredibly aggressive, and late game we saw a lot more players trying to survive because they wanted to get those placement points along with the KP that they had. Now, I was a little bit disappointed with Onlyflans because they didn't have as much KP as they normally would have, but I think that's because they got a little bit nervous. They were also playing for placement, so there was a lot of that going on in their minds. They were trying to keep track of everything, so totally understandable, but I did see that their numbers were a little bit less than what was normal. So we will get that score up for y'all soon. But remember that the finals are going to be next week on the 10th, and we start an hour later than when we've been today. So that will be, I believe, 3 p.m. BRT. That is going to be 11 a.m. PST if you're in Pacific time like I am. So that is when that will be happening. Make sure to mark your calendars. Make sure to check which time zone, what that time would be in your time zone, because time zones are a pain in the butt. So yes, and for next weekend for the finals, we're going to have 2 maps. Sorry, we're going to have 3 matches on World's Edge and 3 matches on Stormpoint. And remember, for finals, we are doing 6 games. And the placement points in the point system will stay the same, 5 points per elimination. First place, you'll get 50 points. Second, 30. Third, you get 20. All right, so now we're going to look at the final scoreboard for the day for South America. And TikTok actually usurps SemOrg from first place. TikTok with 320 points. That last game was their best, and they absolutely shot up on the scoreboard. SemOrg is sitting in second place comfortably with 280 points. BRZ is third with 271, and Brotherhood is fourth with 227. Only Flans sitting in fifth with 225, just off by 2 points. Now, what an incredible game we saw today. Last game. And remember, 12 additional teams per region will be invited to the final. The top 4 teams of each qualifier will advance to the final in their region. So 20 teams per final. So the top 4 here, TikTok, SemOrg, BRZ, and Brotherhood, will be making it to the finals next weekend. And I want to remind you that this tournament is brought to you by Lenovo Legion, which offers gaming PCs, monitors, and accessories that are stylish on the outside and savage on the inside. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to my producers for keeping us on time. And thank you to our amazing players who showed up and showed us what Apex competitive should look like. I absolutely love the South America region. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you next weekend for the South American finals. But be sure to keep tuned for 3 hours. In 3 hours, we will have BYN on the cast for NA Qualifiers Day 2. So I'll see you next weekend. Have a lovely day.